What's up, my retail fam? It's your boy Mike coming at you from. You already know. Wait for it. It's been a minute since I did that. Wait for it. I'll give it a couple of wait for it, a couple of seconds. What is up? Wait for it. You already know it's your boy Mike coming at you from sunny Southern California, where it's steaming hot, and also the crib. It's not the bushes. It's not somewhere down south. It's actually from the crib. Now, I wanted to drop this live. I know a lot of people went live today. There's a lot of news when it comes to AMC. There's a lot of things going on when it comes to AMC, when it comes to 8. There's a lot of opinions, thoughts, and ideas. And I'm going to have somebody join me just in a couple of minutes. And there's some news. There's some things I want to say, some things I want to talk about. And what we're going to do is we're going to give this a couple of seconds. I know there's Annette OPZ. Oh, you changed your name, right? You changed your name, or did you adjust it? What is up? I am great. I am phenomenal. Owning the float. GOAT. What is up? I know people start dropping in. Maybe not. It seems like the last couple of times that I actually went live or just dropped a video, if you have notifications on, people are not getting those notifications. It is what it is. I can't control that. There's nothing I can do about that. All in all, it's totally fine. But we're gonna let some people roll in. Also have somebody who wants that's going to join me here. It's going to be AB Investments, probably someone else after the fact. Again, we're going to let this go for a couple of minutes. I know people have intros and so forth. I do not have an intro, but what I do have is I actually do have a Celsius. If you haven't tried this, it's really good, so good. So I'm gonna crack open this. I have some bottled water over here. I have some mints. we have some smart water. We have a lot of things going on. I know there's a lot of opinions, a lot of thoughts and ideas. There's a lot of people that actually just did tons of stuff. You know, people are just dropping. You know, what happened? What's the price of 8? What's the price of AMC? Are they going to convert? There's no conversion. What the judge say? We're going to go over a couple of things. Shout out from the IE, Flamingo SC. What is happening? Shout out from the IE. For those that don't know, that is the Inland Empire. I wait for my notification to pop up. Usually it pops up after about a minute, and so far it has not popped up that I'm actually live. So we're going to give this a couple more minutes while we hang out here. We'll wait about 3 minutes before we get started. And I got some news that I do want to share with everybody. It's actually pretty big news. And or as some people say, news is just news. And all in all, that is fine. Let's see. Okay. So right now, as we said, let's see, Advil normal. Hey, bro, it's been a while. The price movement after hours, I couldn't miss this one. Been awfully busy at work. How you been? I've been extremely busy. I've been all over the place. Just the other day, I had some business to take care of. I was in 5 states in 3 days. Obviously, California. Went from California, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, and then to Colorado for do some stuff with the Denver Broncos. And then on my way back, and all in all, it's been an absolute blessing. A lot of things going on. Stopped in Vegas for a little bit and just been making things happen, man. Hope my AMC calls are up. Well, if you have calls on AMC, congratulations. You're going to make, for the most part, at least like a boat ton of money. And I hope you make all the money that you can. Hope you make everything that you can. Take profits. Taking profits is paramount. That is something I do want to elaborate on coming up in just a bit. But right now we're waiting for AB because AB and I have some AB Investments. If you don't know who he is, he's a very smart gentleman. He's going to pop on for a little bit. I might have somebody else on after that. But thanks for joining in. And so we're about a couple of minutes in. I know people usually have the intros that had to go for about 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes. I do not have the intro. Let's see. Jams, Reckless Bams. What is up? Hope you're doing wonderful. I'm doing phenomenal. Doing great. I forgot about them. I bought one for 2024. Okay, I got you there. If you haven't calls for 2024, then you're knocking those out of the park. Now, right now, it's about, it's 7:43 out here in the West Coast, here in sunny Southern California. And the current time, or not the current time, the current price for 8 is $1.54. Let me go ahead and write that down. 154. Because I'm going to be jumping around for a little thing. And AMC, we got it at 717. 717. So if we math those together, hey, mods, what's up, mods? What's up, everybody? Again, it's Friday night. I know people are doing a lot of things. I know that people are out and about. But there's some things I do want to talk about. And I'm actually going to put this out there. Some people are going to like it. Some people are not going to like it. Kevin Waters, what is up? Kevin Waiters, my bad, what is up? And again, you know that I'm always here to tell you the truth, to tell you like it is, and to give you my opinion. And I have very strong opinions, not only about AMC, but what's going on with a lot of things and a lot of things in the market, okay? But we're going to specifically stay with AMC. And if you haven't already, go check Sound of Freedom. If you haven't seen Sound of Freedom, you have to go see it. Please, 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 please do yourself a favor. Be aware. Go see Sound of Freedom. Support the cause. It's, you know, obviously it's an atrocious thing that's happening in this world. So if you haven't seen Sound of Freedom, you know, I know Barbie the movie came out. Prometheus, what is up? What no one is paying attention to, nor addressing it. Judge Zern just indicated that AMC and APE are two separate entities by saying that Allegheny doesn't represent APE holders. The quiet part out loud. Um, the quiet part out loud. See, this is a bull run that's going to end by the end of the year. There's a lot of things going on. I don't know. I can't say we're in a bull run. I've been taking some profits. I did do some things on the SPY, did pretty well. Also, when it went down inverse OTS, inverse ETS was SQQQs, did pretty well. So in this prop up or pushing up to the upside when it comes to the bull run in the market, I've been doing okay, and I've been again taking profits. Could I have let some runners go? Possibly, but I have not. Okay, again, playing it close to the vest because I have no idea when things are going to turn around. I have no idea what's going to happen, and obviously we had some news drop today, and it pushed the price of AMC went from $4 all the way up to over $8. People were excited, and obviously, you know, eight again. This does not mean that the reverse stock split or the conversion is not going to happen. Okay, it does not mean that it's just completely off the table. That's not what they're saying. What they're saying is they got to renegotiate. They're going to resubmit it in order to come to a conclusion that has to be pretty much signed off on. Okay, let's see. So I got right now. Let's see. I have SoFi here as well. And let's see. I have $1.54. Okay, which is going to be APE, and I have AMC right now at $1.17. It's going to look like really going to be curious on Sunday. What's going to happen on Sunday? Sunday pre-market, okay, or maybe Sunday night to see how things are going to be looking because you're going to have big ETFs. You have something like you're going to have SPY moving Sunday. You're going to have SQQs, I believe. You have the bigger ticker symbols moving around. See how the market's going to fluctuate. Again, this is not just the AMC thing. See what's happening in the market leading into next week because, you know, next week we have a rate hike, which is going to be, I believe it's on Wednesday. Yes, it is on Wednesday. Let me check out my economic calendar. We have a rate hike on Wednesday. Then also, and one thing I did mention in the video is the fact that even though we have a rate hike that's coming out on Wednesday, which is going to be, let's see, July 27th. Actually, yeah, July 26th. It's going to be on Friday is PCE. PCE is what they use to determine of how they're going to go, which is going to be the Fed. They're going to use core PCE, and having the rate hike on Wednesday and then PCE on Friday. I mean, the question I ask myself: how come they just can't just switch those days, right? Just have, or even go to Thursday, have PCE on maybe on Wednesday or even Thursday, have the rate hike on Thursday or Friday. So at least they have the actual numbers. They're going to give out a rate hike, and then they're going to actually come out with core, and you know it's going to affect the markets either way. But it just would make logical sense if the Fed is actually going to use PCE, and that's what they're going by. Core PCE is what they're using to see how inflation is moving. But then again, I'm not the Fed. I'm not Jerome Powell. I don't have a part in my hair. You know, it is what it is, right? Now, one other thing that I do want to talk about. Let's see. Excuse me one second. I do want to see right now where the rate hike, you know, what percentage is going to be. And let's see. And again, thanks for everybody for tuning in. If you can't hit that like button, you know, thanks for, I know it's Friday, you know, I know people have things to do, but I do actually want to say a few things. And right now I'm waiting for AB Investments. He should be jumping up right here now in a couple of minutes. The Fed rate monitor tool, okay? Now, it looks like right now, as we said, 99.2% is going to be a quarter percent. It's going to be 25 BPS, okay? Um, being at 25 BPS, it's been they've been saying this for quite some time. Okay, now is there going to be a second rate hike? More than likely. I know there's a lot of things when it comes to CRE, which is commercial real estate. There's a lot of things when it comes to Airbnb. You're starting to see these things pop up when it comes to Airbnb things. Okay, now if you don't shop at the markets, excuse me, for me, I do a lot of shopping for the family. Um, you're starting to see things. Okay, that are out of stock, and I don't think it's by accident. There's things that normally that are in stock that are pretty much out of stock or maybe hard to get, hard to come by, or if they're on the shelf, they're actually very minimal. They're not in the abundance that they used to. And one thing that I've been seeing lately was actually avocados. Avocados from where we're at, obviously Southern California. We haven't had avocados for a couple of weeks, which sounds sort of weird, right? If you go to like a Mexican restaurant, they got avocado, you know, probably a gang of them in the back. They're probably taking them all up. But the markets, you know, there's no avocados, and so my better half, you know, eats avocados with pretty much every meal. And they're always in abundance in the house. So when we're low on avocados, it's sort of a little weird. Also with some coconut waters. Coconut waters haven't been around. And again, this may seem so minimal. They may seem like, well, it's just, you know, a couple of products that you have. But in the grand scheme of things, it's a huge problem. It could be a huge issue of something lingering, something down the road. Now, let's see what we got here. Now, I'm going to say this right here. So we got about 40 people in here. It's about 10 minutes. So before AB comes on, I know he'll be popping up anytime soon. Let me take a drink of this. I'm going to say something. I'm going to say this right now. I've always been one to tell you like it is, to be absolutely upfront, to be direct and be honest with you. Whether you got your woke feelings hurt, your unwoke feelings hurt, it really doesn't matter. Heck, that's a good idea. What is up? It's been a long time. Yes, it's been quite some time. Now, I'm going to say this, and I don't say this. I denied the conversation. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm going to say this right now. My average, okay, and I don't talk about this quite a bit. Actually, don't talk about this at all. My average, there's people in my circles that know what my average is, how many shares I have, what my position is, the size of position, the cost, the value. They know all these things. They've seen it, so forth, right? So my average, again, is, or I should say, was $6.74. Okay, that was my average. Now, when the price of AMC and APE combined was sitting somewhere about that 625, I was down about 50 cents per share. Now, when it comes to my position size, it's actually pretty big. You see, the hot with avocados, fire roasted, hatching the Mexican chiles. Yeah, making what's that? Chile rellenos, right? Chile rellenos. So being at when the price, my average is at $6.74, and when the price of AMC Ape is hovering about $6.25, I'm off about 50 cents per share. Okay. Now I have been in the green for quite some time, being in the red, and there's a lot of things that are going on. And it was a couple of people of having conversations about what is coming down, especially with the judge, what's coming on with AMC. You already know my distaste for Adam Aaron. What kind of person I think he is. He can't be trusted, in my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. This is not financial advice. I do not believe in Adam Aaron. I love me AMC. I believe in AMC. I do not believe in Adam Aaron or the people that surround him. The whole thing with ANTARA, everything that he's done. I met this guy in person down south over there in San Diego. Everything that he's done has not been for retail. It's been for his pockets. It's been for people that he rubs elbows with. I don't know. People like to bang on Headcroft Mining. I really don't care about that. It's not a huge portion of the war chest. People talk about certain cinemas or movie theaters that he's bought. I don't. I'm neither here or there. My biggest issues when I met him and asked him questions directly was the fact that of how he handled APE. Okay, now I know again it's a very touchy subject with a lot of people when it comes to APE. A lot of people don't like to talk about it, or they get angry when they talk about it. APE, I truly feel it was handled very poorly. It was premeditated that they were going to sell. I mentioned this before in many videos that he said that they were not going to sell for 1 month, whether it was from ANTARA, whether it was not from ANTARA. They had opportunities to sell. They had opportunities. It could be at $10, $9, $8, whatever it is. But selling at $4 like it's a badge of honor was actually a kick in the throat, a kick in the nuts. AA is the 1%er looking for out himself. Let me write this down real quick. I do want to elaborate on something, which is going to be him being sued. Now that's part of the plan, right? It's going to be a long weekend in Cashman. Exactly 100% of this whole fiasco was scam retail, divided dilution. So going back to Adam Aaron, I feel he's done nothing with retail. Now I know we have earnings coming up. There's going to be a lot of forecasts on earnings. Hopefully that this Q2 is going to be profitable. If there is, because cash burn is a problem, raising capital is a problem. But I got to say this earlier today. Actually, you know what? I got this guy right here. Let me welcome Mr. AB Investments, Mr. The most underrated YouTuber in the history of YouTube. My dudes, my brother. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's going on, my family? How's it going?
Well, you know what? Two things. Number one, we're not dressed alike. Number two, we're not wearing a hat. And number three, we have different colors, which is nice, bro. It's cool, man. It's cool.
Something must have happened.
So the honorable mention, Morgan said, no, not this guy. Boom. So I was actually elaborating on something really quick. And I was actually talking about what we spoke about earlier, because I told AB this information. I called him directly. We spoke on the phone. And I just want to say this. Right now, let's see what I got. So my average was at $6.74, and being down to about $6.25, so about 50 cents per share. And for my position, it was pretty massive. Okay, and I say was because I'm no longer in AMC anymore. I've completely sold out of my position when it comes to APE and when it comes to AMC. I sold at $9.17, which is a profit of, what is that? somebody want to do the math for me? I forgot to do the math right there. 917 take away 674 per share. It's $2 and some change. That is my profit per share. Now, as the amount of shares, I'm not going to get into that, but I feel that I need to come out and say that because when being stuck at 625, being in the red, I know there's tons of people that are in the red, tons of people that have higher positions, right? And for me, being true to myself, again, I do not trust Adam Aaron. I don't believe in anything that he's going to do. I don't trust him. I don't trust his outlook. I don't trust anything about him. I looked at Twitter. I don't even know if he even has a tweet out yet. And the thing about that is when I saw the pop, when I saw the news drop, and I saw AMC push up, and I saw obviously he had 8 push down, sort of went opposite ways. The next, they sort of mellowed out. I sold all my AMC and I sold all my 8. And for an average of $9.17 combined, okay, and my average is $6.74. So I took my $2 and some change profit per share, and I'm completely out of AMC. The reason why I did that is because I know there's a lot of people that are stuck that have different positions, but the reason why I do that because I feel that when the news starts to come out, and there's going to be a lot of things coming out, about this lawsuit, there's going to be a lot of things that that are looking the fact that, hey, you know what's going to end up happening is the price of AMC, is the price of APE going to actually readjust by the time Monday morning. And for myself, I was thinking, like, if there's an opportunity or some type of pop that I could actually get back in the green and make money, it's not the money that I want to make by no means, right? But it's a sizable amount where I can actually look back on and be like, you know what? I had to do what I have to do because I do not believe in, again, not the play. I do not believe in Adam Aaron. And I think more importantly, he's going to screw everybody over. He's going through this lawsuit. And one of the things is that they want it to be settled, or they want it to be justified where you cannot sue you cannot sue AMC, you cannot sue Adam Aaron. And to me, that just smells of something that's just beyond fishy. My street instincts, my spidey senses, whatever you want to call it, just are up. And when I saw the price of $9.17 per share for myself, I said, you know what, I'm out. And they started exiting my position, completely out, everything, all the way across. And this is what I tell retail family, having access to pre-market and post-market, because, people are saying, well, I don't have an opportunity to sell. I don't have an opportunity to buy when, we have the pops, right? So for me to exit my position completely in the post market on the nice run up, a nice pop at $2 some change, I'll do the math right now, right? But at $2 some cents per share, am I happy with it? I expected tons more. Am I over with the play? I can't say that I am, but am I out 100%? I am now as of today. So and that's something that I told AB, and I called him as soon as I did it because I felt that, obviously AB is a brother of mine. I told Grandpa Barney, the couple of people that I told and said, hey, this is what I did because I told you whenever I sell or get completely out, I'm gonna let everybody know, and I'm not going to pretend that I'm still holding in YOLO and all stuff like that when I have nothing. And as of today, as of the after hours, I think it was like about 2:00 somewhere. I don't even know the time to be honest with you, but it was in the after hours. I'm completely out of APE. I'm completely out of AMC. I no longer have any positions in any of those. I just have my GameStop and a couple of calls and so forth. So that's it, man. So what is up, AB?
Wow. Well, you kind of couldn't wait to get. As soon as I got on the stream, that's when you smacked me with the real deal, right? Well, you did call me earlier and tell me that. So, man, hey, listen, I'm gonna say it again. Congrats. You did what you did. You got out with a profit. Again, everybody is the co-chief and the chief executive officer of their own investment. So you did what you had to do, brother. Whatever you felt like you had to do for you and your family and your loved ones, you did it. No one can tell you that something wrong. One thing I did like to hear is that you are saying that are you completely out? You're not ready to say all that yet. So again, we'll see what the future will bring. For me, I'm excited. I can't wait, just like everybody else, for Monday to come around the corner. Of course, I've made a live earlier and said, like, hey guys, limit your expectations and kind of like stay cool, calm, and collective. It's just like, again, yeah, it's exciting. You want the positivity. Everybody loves to see 80, 90% moves and all that stuff, but we've seen several pumps attempts in this past 3 years, and it didn't materialize into something. Now, with this case, there's many things and many different narratives to jump into. Many people are calling it this, and many people are calling it that, and all this stuff. the most important thing to hear or to listen to here, or the key takeaways, is one, this case was basically the judge saying no to the settlement. There could be any attempts at like reappeals. There could be attempts at fixing up the settlement and resubmitting again in efforts to do that. But there's a lot of things to take out of that. One, like there's so many different ways to cut this cake and this pie. And in this stream, maybe I won't be here the whole night, as I told you earlier. And I'm pretty sure many people in here, or some people in here, might love that fact, anyways, that I won't be here for a little while, so I won't put them all to sleep.
So
But there are some
okay,
things. So before I leave, there are some things I will reiterate on and touch on for the family, and basically we'll go through, one by one. Before I leave, I will say some of these things. Go for it, brother.
Oh, sorry, man. I thought you were still talking. No.
Yeah, go for it. I'll go through them one by one. I'm not gonna just go into them, because once I go into them, it's gonna be more like, okay, what is going on here?
I got you. So here what it comes out to for myself. Okay, so per share, and again, the amount of shares, I don't think it's important, right? And for myself personally, I don't think it's important, because there's a lot of people that have, whether you have 1 shares or you have 20, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. Some people that I know have 100 and some thousand shares. That's entirely up to you. I think that's your own business. Per share, it's at $2.43 is what I exited with when it comes to AMC. Now, I will say this, and I do not look back. Come Monday, say pre-market, let's say margin calls, right? There's some margin calls happening. There's liquidity issues and so forth, and all these things start to happen. AMC starts to run up. Right now, it's at $7.17. It starts to run up. Let's say it runs up to, say, 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks, 60 bucks, 70 bucks. Let's say it even reaches new all-time high to $80. Everybody becomes 100% in the green. I would definitely not look back and say, I should have done that, because I've already made my decision earlier today. I'm not one to look back. I'm one to look forward, and the past is the past. But I will say this, if it does do that, if there are margin calls and there is a run up within the next day or so, 2-3 days, whatever the case is, I want everybody, I'll be rooting for everybody 100% to make all the money you can and taking profits. And one thing that I do, and you actually, AB reminded me this earlier for myself. He says, when I told him that I had sold, because I didn't tell anybody. The only person that knows is my better half. I didn't tell anybody that I sold at the time after I was going to sell the pop. But after I told him, he says, it's something that you talk about. It's taking profits is paramount. And for me, it just reiterates again, at this position, I do not know if AMC is going to go back down, if it's going to have a retracement, or if it's going to pop or push back up over the next couple of weeks. That's not a chance that I'm willing to take, not a risk I'm willing to take with the amount of money that I have in it, with the amount, with the sizable position that I had. There's no way that I'm actually going to move and just hang back and go back into the red, or have that possibility of being in the red. And for me, what I see pretty much them maybe restructuring something possibly over the weekend. I see maybe some price action with AMC going back to the downside, maybe 8 sort of staying where it's at. And that 917 that I got for both combined when I exited my position when it comes to AMC and 8, for me, I don't see that happening again in the near future, because of all these things that are coming down the road. If and when the reverse stock split and the conversion do happen, I believe that they're going to do it some more. I think there's going to be a lot of things going on, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to sell a lot of shares that are going to be sold. And so I don't want to be part of that, because then I'm going to actually be going deeper. And again, I know there's tons of people that are deeply in the red. They have no choice. They have, they don't have an opportunity like I have. And sometimes, being early, this is what I talk about when I say that there's actually, if there's a stock that's running up, or there's something that's happening when it comes to a ticker symbol, and that, it's okay if I don't catch it at the bottom. It's okay that I let it run and just watch people make money. I'm totally okay hanging out on the sidelines. And in this case, I was red. I was deeply red. Okay. And people may not think, it's only 50 cents a share. Well, I don't have 100 shares. I don't even have a few hundred. I don't even have a few thousand shares. It's more than that. So that 50 cents per share is massive. Okay. And I think having that type of swing, going back to the upside, going from a negative 50 cents per share up to $2.43 profit per share, was an opportunity that I had to take, and decision I had to make for myself and my family. And therefore I pulled the trigger and I did what I did. And again, for everybody out there that's still holding, this does not mean that I'm going to just okay, forget about AMC. there's still opportunities for AMC. There's still opportunities in all aspects. Whether you can, whether you feel you don't have the opportunities, or whether you do have those opportunities. Again, I'm not in your shoes. You're not in my shoes. But I do want to say this: is that when it comes to AMC, when it comes to Ape, I know Ape. A lot of people don't really, because it was pressed upon them. It's something, when it comes to the lawsuit, they don't count it as the same thing. If I'm sort of butchering that, but AMC itself, I still love AMC. I still believe in AMC. The problem that I have with is Adam Aaron. Adam Aaron is the guy that I do not trust, and I feel that we're being set up to have more money stolen from us and be just ripped off from Adam Aaron. I cannot stand the guy. And the more and more I hear about him, the more and more I see about him, the more and more he talks. Again, he hasn't even tweeted, right? There's no tweets from him at all. Just quiet, from my understanding. So I felt it was my opportunity, and I took it. So, oh, hi, how you doing? So that's all. I just want to ramble it on. So let's start off what you want to say, because you have something that you want to say. Your countdown. Let's get you there.
Well, though not necessarily a countdown style, but
3,
here's
2, 1,
some
go.
things, some key takeaways. First of all, first I did not say the right thing to say, the right thing I normally say, which is hopefully everybody's having a great weekend so far, and that's basically getting off to a great start with what's happening. Now that I mentioned a few things earlier, we talked about, first of all, again, I support your decision no matter what UFC, however way you feel about it. Again, you did what you did, and more so that you did it for also a profit. No one can say anything, whether, no one can technically say anything bad to you. You did your thing. It's your money on the line. No one can come and talk about somebody to, that did what they did for their own pockets. It's not your money, so you can't do. Now, I always do say this. Everybody got choices to make, decisions to make. The most important thing is that you can only control yours. Don't sit there and point your finger at others if things happen not according to what you're planning for, because you're always taking a chance. And if it was a one stock kind of float or one share of float where you control the outcome, then that's a different story. You control it. But when you're counting on millions and millions and many other people and different factors, it's you who make the decision, and you got to live and die with it. That's why you have to have your quote, like your plan on basically going into the investment. Now, with that being said, I can't be more excited about the timing of this. Some of the people who are like followers, for example, on my channel, there was a period of about 2 weeks where, and some of the people that I see in here right now, they can actually fact check, where I was literally telling everyone that there are weird and way too weird, deep in the money put options that were being purchased. And I'm talking about millions and the millions and the millions of premiums. And they were all expiring July 21st.
Really?
And I've been signaling to people, yes. And I've been saying it on more than one live. Some people can fact check it here. And guess what? July 21st expiry comes. This stuff happened. Now, I wasn't, of course, saying that, guess what, guys, we're going to squeeze on the 21st. I was bringing everybody's attention to that because we don't see that kind of movement on the AMC options chain that often. So what changed? It was weird. The key takeaway was that they are able to contain AMC in this range since the access to actual shares out there is very scarce. So the only other way that they could go and try to constrain or short AMC is through the options put chain, like a options chain, buying puts that are far deep in the money, not out of the money, but far deep in the money. And they can go ahead and keep it. It's kind of like tying an anchor to somebody's leg. And this is a terrible analogy, but it is what it is. It's kind of tying an anchor to somebody's leg and then putting them in the ocean. And now you're telling them survive, like live, try to float. So what that anchor is doing is constantly trying to drag it down to keep it away from taking off. So some people for 2 weeks already knew, some institutes that is too, it wasn't retail investors that did this. Some institute knew for over 2 weeks about this coming news, and therefore they acted on it 2 weeks in advance, because the premium speaks, the money speaks, and the people could talk left and right. Some people say theories, some people could say other theories, but the money does not lie. Money speaks only one language, and that is somebody has intent, and that intent was uncovered completely today. I alerted people for about 2 weeks ago when I first saw it, and it got uncovered today. Now that's the first thing. Second thing, key takeaways. We've been going through as a community a lot of division, a lot of people saying the yes, the no, the yes, the no, and all that stuff. And then there's these theories out there, the short theses, all these kind of things. I would like to bring up a very important point to many people, which is for the yes, for the no, for whatever side, if there's two sides, for all sides. The idea is that the shorts wanted or wants or likes this this whole case and this settlement, and that they are the ones who are backing that up. Now, let's hypothetically expect that that is true. It is the shorts that are behind it, and we as no voters are all don't know what the hell is happening, and we're all backing it up, don't know that the shorts want this. If that is the case, upon the announcement of the settlement rejection, the price of AMC should have indeed, instead of going up in the green, should have been going in the red. The shorts, if they got what they wanted,
Right.
why wouldn't they double down? If the idea that the shorts are after this is because they can go ahead and bankrupt AMC for sure, and that's what they want. That's what the theory out there is. The theorists and the fundamentalists are throwing around out there, is that without this, there will be the shorts. That's what they want, and that's what they will get. And next thing you know, they'll double down. Now, for me, I said on one of my lives before, if I'm fighting in the ring and I catch somebody, I catch my opponent with one punch, and I see them getting wobbly, what is the very next thing to do? You go for the knockout. Exactly. Right. You go quick. You rush in and you go for the knockout. And if the shorts were very after this, listen, people, one thing is I like to believe what the money is doing more than what people say. This is the time that we live in. If you follow what people say, most of the times in your life, you'll end up more hurt than happy. The money, when you see it, because most people in this world that we live in are all materialistic. And when I see the money, it's the most important thing to them, these people in this world. Not necessarily to me, but we are in a game of money in the stock market. So therefore, I believe a lot more into what the money is doing than what such and such are saying, who is saying what, and what is saying what, because the money speaks louder than the words. So if they got their notion, which is the no vote, or the rejection of the settlement, then shouldn't they go and double and triple down in these after hours on shorting AMC, now that they finally got what they perhaps, or at least a push in the right direction of where they want it to go? This should tell everyone that the shorts are indeed afraid that the settlement does not go through. They are indeed afraid that this could even become a problem for them down the road if reappeals do not work. This should operate as that, because again, if it's the other way around, then AMC APE should be up, even on the rejection of the settlement. APE should still go up, and AMC should be going down in price, because the end goal for the shorts is to bankrupt AMC and double down and triple down and quadruple their shorts. But that didn't happen. You know, what are you laughing at?
Look at Andrew Frances, his last. Remember? We were talking about that?
Oh my God, the Barbie.
He said, I didn't believe me. I told you weeks ago Barbie would be elite to the squeeze. That is right. It is opening weekend for Barbie.
He did. You gotta give him his props, man.
He did.
Much props to you, bro.
But go ahead.
So yeah. So like that's one thing. It's the judge ruled, and in the same time, there's another key takeaway. This is the most important one, is what I just mentioned. If it's to the liking of the shorts and the hedge funds and the hedgies and the people who want to take away our attendees, then they If that's what they want, we should be seeing red, not green. This clearly indicates that they're afraid of that because perhaps some short was like, okay, I'm the most exposed to this
Exposed, right?
play, So if this thing goes wrong, I know everybody else. See, the shorts are all in cahoots, but when it comes to surviving, they will be the first to turn on each other and try to go after this. Hey, I'm just gonna save my ass if it comes down to it, and turn on everybody. Imagine some guy who's not like, imagine the big guys. Think of it, this family. Imagine the shorting party starts with these big guys like the King Griffins and all these, as Lou sometimes even refers to them as the gobblers and the devils and the devil and the whatever. He said these kind of individuals set the party, and that is true. They start the party off, and they are the hosts. Next thing you know, all these other smaller shorts come in, and they all want to come to the party. Okay. But one thing we do know is the big devil, the number one devil, is always on top. So he's the last line of defense. Or if there was a Noah's flood, he is on the highest point on earth before the flood takes over everything. And like if you guys all know about the Noah's situation or the flood, the great flood in the past. So these smaller shorts, however, they're all on such lower points. So they're very close to the water. Some of them, when this price goes up, they see that like, oh shit, the water is near. I can feel it on my feet. Like soon this thing, and then somebody else who knows could be super exposed that it's up to their neck. Right now, this person or that short is basically looking up and saying, hey, don't you guys give up on me. Don't you guys run away. Hold your shorts. In fact, double down. I need you guys. I came through for you guys. I didn't cover back then. I wasn't the person who got you guys margined. And guess what? The ones that are above, if they see the water getting too close, they'll look at him and say, you know what? You were a cool guy and all and everything like that. But sorry, I had to do it to you because I can't, like, again, they love their money. I can't risk losing all my money. I can't be the next Melvin. I can't be the next Archegos. I can't be the next guy. So I see that. And therefore, hey, man, you could take one for the family. We'll take care of you afterwards. It's just that people who invest with your hedge fund will lose their money, and then at that point, okay, well, since you put it that way, all right, we'll do it because these people are soulless. And that's like the major thing. So the second takeaway from this is the person who didn't like the settlement or rejected the settlement is not just a biased individual, someone who's outside the market or in the market, or somebody who's from a yes background or the no background or anything. This is the judge that we're speaking of. This is a source that does not say, trust me, bro. This is a source that does not say, I don't give financial advice. This is a source that does this for a living, and they have their sworn oath. So if she saw that this was not fair, this is not fair. That's what it is. Anybody that wants to tell you otherwise is just trying to drift around. And basically, if you fall for that kind of stuff, then honestly, you deserve to be misled by all means. Because again, if the judge order cannot show you that this is not fair, then I don't know what else. What could persuade you? Maybe you're just stubborn on one end.
One thing the judge, I think there was mentioned the fact that about not being able to sue, right? There's no action towards, especially people that have a gripe about APE. You can't go after, AMC. You can't go after Adam Aaron. For me, that's the biggest takeaway. And if you recall, let's take this all the way back when it comes to me. Remember, I was a yes voter because we had a vote before I went down to San Diego to go meet Adam Aaron. So I voted yes. I was actually full on board. And then once I met him, asked the questions that I asked, and people were really asking, like, did you really ask me questions? And yes, and there's a whole story that people already know about all that, right? The questions that I asked him, the line that I was asking him when it came to ANTARA, especially, what happened with APE. Obviously he didn't like it. And from that moment on, it's like my whole mindset, my whole thought process, it was already ready to change, but he just pretty much just sealed the deal of just how he cared. It was everything that he just said. And, I was taken back by it. And pretty much from that point on, just everything, just looking back of how of how, I want to say naive, believing in something so much when it came to Adam Aaron blindly, and I know there's a lot of people that still, wholeheartedly believe in him, think he's the silverback, and he's a god, and whatever the case may be. That's fine. I can't tell you what to think and believe, but leading up to my decision today to completely exit AMC, to completely exit Ape, was simply because of this guy. I do not trust him, and in this lawsuit, if you have no repercussions, it's almost like how these vaccine companies, right? Now, because I said vaccines probably get banned, but because these vaccine companies, and you got the Pfizer's and Moderna's, and they can actually just spray you with all kinds of stuff, and then next thing you know, there's no repercussions for them for all the stuff that they've been lying about. Okay, and that just pretty much reminds me of Adam Aaron. He wants to go ahead and protect himself. Hey, let's pay out this money because remember the SEC, they fine everybody and they pay out these fines and it's just washed under the rug and it's over and done with. Let's pay out whatever amount of money we got to pay so we don't none of this stuff comes back on us. We don't get sued again. We don't have nothing. They want to be free and clear with it. And again, that does not sit well with me. And to me, that's just some shady shit right there. And I just cannot look past that. I cannot get past that. And so when I saw the opportunity, again, like I said, I saw that opportunity because I don't think there's anything good. Right now, we had the market close for AMC at $4.40. Right now, in the after hours, would be 5 o'clock my time. The price is seven. I keep seeing 17. People are like, yeah, it's $7.17. Now, I'm curious of, yes, it was a long time leading up until Monday pre-market. I'm curious at market open, okay, how close is that $7.17 going to be to that 440? That is that's what one thing I have really a big curiosity in. Now, the next thing is the fact that the way they released the information, not during market hours. They did it right when market closed, and boom, they dropped it because they knew that there was a lot of people that if it was during regular market hours, what would people want to get? Options. People would start piling in, and next all hell would break loose. Even though the options, would be super expensive because now the stock's already running, AMC's pushing to the upside. There's people that will still jump into options and just chase after it, and then now you get stuck in gamma. And now looking into next weekend, buying these way out of the money calls, and while the price is pushing up. So they wait till market closes, and then next boom, they drop the news. The price shoots up, and they know. And this is I'm gonna repeat this again. You have to have access, whether it's AMC, whether it's GameStop, whether it's any ticker symbol. You have to have access to pre and post market because if there's a squeeze of any type with whatever ticker symbol, pre and post market is more than likely where you're going to get your best value per share because during regular market hours, all hell will break loose. And so they're going to try to confine it, they'll try to hold it or suppress it, whatever ticker symbol it is. But in after hours, pre-market or post-market, you need to have access to those so you can actually get the best value for your money or actually when you cash out. If I didn't have access to this, I would be stuck where I'm at. But I have access to pre and post-market in all my accounts. So therefore, I made that decision to bounce. And here's the thing is, I told you too, whether people got upset by it, whether you like it or you dislike it, or he's paper-handed, to me, it's not. It's neither here or there. It's about being honest and telling you the truth and saying, hey, I'm not going to sit here and rah-rah you and then, and just not hold empty, just be completely blank. That's not how I roll. But one thing I did want to say is just come out and say this, the fact that, again, I'm going to reiterate, I no longer hold AMC. I no longer hold APE. I'm completely out of my position. And my average was $6.74 when it was trading at about 6.25. It's a 50-cent difference per share. And exiting in the after hours of today, after this pop in this news, is that $9.17 is my average for an average per share of $2.43 overall my position. And to me, that's the right decision for myself, for my family, is to get out and to move on. Now, I will also reiterate, is there an opportunity for me to buy back in or to get back in at some point? Yes. The only thing that I do not like is Adam Aaron and what he's doing in this whole lawsuit. There's so many unknowns. It's always a question mark. And there's always some way that they can wiggle out or some loophole that they guilt through, or there's always something. People talk about the threshold list, 20 days. What is done? It's done absolutely nothing. It's a threshold list. They don't do anything about that. They should actually cover the shares. Nothing. All right. It's always some type of catalyst. What ends up happening? Nothing. Price action end up happening? Nothing. It's always something, but nothing ever happens when it comes to the price. Now something happens to the price. Boom, I made a decision and I'm out. And for my people, everybody out there, not about AMC, not about APE, not about GameStop, not about anything else. Sound of Freedom. Go see Sound of Freedom if you haven't. Go see Barbie. Go see Sound of Freedom, Mission Impossible. Go see Sound of Freedom. Do yourself a favor. Don't take the kids. Go see Sound of Freedom, and
You did tell me. You did tell me, didn't you tell me that if on Monday's open, if the price opens up at like 200 or 400 or 1,000, you'll be the most happy person, right?
Yes, I would. I'll be
You would
ecstatic.
be happy for the whole family, right?
Yes. And I did say that if the price pushes up on Monday and people get margin calls and over the next couple of weeks, and people are making money hand over fist, I don't look back in the rearview mirror. I'm a look forward type of guy. And I'm gonna be happy for every single person. If you're making millions of dollars, I have no qualms about being like happy for you. I'm much love. God bless you. I want you to make all the money, whether I was on the ride or wasn't on the ride. If I missed the boat, that's totally fine. I made my decision and I'm okay with it. I can sleep at night, how I do. The thing about it is the fact that sometimes people like they have hatred, like, oh well, I missed, so I want you to miss too. Like, no, no, no. I'm not like that. I want nothing but goodness for everybody out there. Just everybody. I want goodness. Let's see what we got. Hang on, Prometheus. Mike, since you sold two, does that mean I can't get allowance now? Dad. Yeah. So So anyhow, man, I do want to say this too. Again, I'm gonna go back. You talk about the banks a lot, okay? Now,
Yes.
with the banking industry, what's your outlook when it comes to maybe the next couple of weeks? Because I know that we mentioned sort of CRE, which is commercial real estate. I know there's a lot of things popping up about Airbnbs, just the housing market in general. But banks, I'm starting to see now the bank information, bank runs starting to maybe come into the mix again. So now, if we have something like this where there comes a liquidity issue, a liquidity crisis, and now banks starting to have issues, do you see a lot of meme stocks? Do you see a lot of ticker symbols starting to run or have the action where they start pushing to the upside and it becomes like a FOMO frenzy in a lot of aspects of different, sectors or different parts of the market?
I see that in order for the Feds, and this has been a fight for like so many years, for like over 50, 60, 70 years, the number one goal for any government out there is to have a tight grip on its population. Now, of course, that's where we come in and say, no, our Constitution, our freedom, our rights, our this amendment and that amendment. Now, many places are not as fortunate as we do, at least. I'll say that. We might not have the best yet, but we have it much better than many out there. And believe me,
Right.
people, we have it much better than many out there. Um, Either way, how the Feds would like to have it is for them to have entire control over the entire financial system, so that way they can have a better, even firmer grip of control over you. If they control all your finances, if they control all your money, to open the faucet. I mean, imagine somebody having access to the only water faucet in the house, and if they sit right there and say, nope, you must do this for me to open it and give you some water, you're going to do what you have to do in order to get some water, uh, so that's basically it right there. Now, what happens in these upcoming months, you're going to start seeing very, very aggressive behavior happening by the Feds, because they made their choice. They're going after inflation. They want to look like the good guy, but they're very insidious. They know what they're doing. In raising the rate hikes every time, they are putting more of these smaller or community banks out of business completely. Because again, if these banks have gotten into loans and they did stuff like at certain percentages, right now the rate hikes and the percentages that they're paying, some of their customers, even whether it's a fixed rate or not on some of these mortgages or not, some of these things are yielding them less money than what they are paying on that loan themselves. So the bank is losing hand over fist money on a monthly base on all of these loans. So who's benefiting? Obviously, you see the bigger guys. You see what JP Morgan did when they went and acquired the other bank that basically got bankrupt. And they benefited a lot from that. I think they bought them for like 10 billion. That was nothing compared to having the First Republic Bank, having all of that and all the locations and all that. This just makes the big and the strong consume the smaller and get bigger and stronger. And you're going to see a lot more than that. Now, the key takeaway for me is to see there's been rumors circulating on Credit Suisse. And Credit Suisse, there's some weird stuff saying, and I don't know, again, if this is a rumor or if this is exactly true, but I'm going after it to exactly, nip it up butt and see exactly what is the truth there. But Credit Suisse, they're trying to hide exactly what is that caused Credit Suisse to get exposed and almost go bellies up, and concealed it for about the next 30 to 50 years from coming out. So by then, it's going to be completely different people here talking about complete different struggles, perhaps in a different AMC moment and point in time fighting against the corruption of Wall Street and all that stuff at that time, if we don't solve that for them here
Right.
today, as we are in this fine movement. But again, seeing the Feds almost unanimously, I believe wholeheartedly that they will give a 25 basis points this up toward the end of this month. Well, basically next week.
Next week, yeah, it's actually at 99.2. That's gonna be 25 BPS. Next week on Wednesday.
Yes. So we're gonna have that, and then I think there will be another one up there, and then
September,
in that
right?
time frame, exactly. And I think that in that time frame, that's when, personally for me, I think that the biggest blow to these banks will happen. Again, think of it like this: SVB went under and is still not fully finished. Like the ramifications of SVB
Right.
is not fully dealt with. It's in the background, still lingering. A lot of people overlook it like it's in the past. No, it's still lingering, and it's not finished and dealt with. And that one went under a couple of rate hikes below. They were overextended. Are they the only bank that has been over leveraged, and they have went for every dollar they went what 30x, 45x, or 88x against that same dollar? So for every physical dollar they own, they're over leveraged to 48 times for fake, extra dollars. It's like, wow,
that's crazy, dude.
It's crazy.
I think the highest over leverage I've seen was like 240%. It was 240 times or something like that. It was like I saw the number. I checked it again. I was like, wait, it's 240 times. Like I just couldn't believe it. I've never seen a number that high. I think the highest I've ever seen was probably like somewhere in the 80s, right? And I think one time it was like it could be. Someone said it could be like 100, but that was like the 80s, and I was like, that's pretty crazy. But then seeing this 240 or something times over leverage, I was like, I couldn't even, like, for a second it caught me off guard because like, are they fucking with me? Like, is this like real? And I was like, wow, this is some crazy shit right now. But I actually want to touch on something really quick. It's actually, where's that? Jim Gold. He actually says, Mike, you paper hand it, okay? And and it's fine. And again, all comments are welcome. You can call it what you want, okay? But this is what I did. I was in the red and I had opportunity to sell at my position at $2.43 per share at a profit, and I did. Now, there's also another comment saying, well, all the time for $8. Yes, it is true. All the time for $8. But here's the thing is, well, not $8, $9.17. The only problem is the fact that I just see there's too much downside. There's too many unknowns, and I have the opportunity to make a difference and make a change in my position. Now, I want people to ask themselves this question. There's a lot of people that are not in my position that are actually stuck. They're in a much higher average that, $15, $20, $25. They cannot average down. They cannot do anything. They're pretty much stuck where they're at. Would they take the opportunity? Again, everybody's situation is different. Do I actually need that money right now? No, I do not. But I'm not going to leave money on the table thinking that, that it's going to, pop and do something different. Because this is just my own personal opinion, my own ideas, my own perspective of what I see coming down the road. What's this right here? And he says $140 high next week on AMC. Follow the chart. Dan, yes, if it's $140 next week, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to look back and say woulda, coulda, shoulda, because if I did, then I live a miserable life. I would root for everybody to make all the money that you can and to take profits and to do whatever you got to do. Okay, but one last thing is the fact when it comes to this is that the retail investor is always last to know. They don't tell us what we're going on. Just like you're talking about the options, right? Somebody knew this 2 weeks ago. We're the ones that are always being scammed. We're the ones that are always being taken advantage of. We're always being left holding the bag. And could I have held and just say, you know what, and not said anything? I could have just sold and never said a word. But I don't roll that way. I'm not going to do that to my retail family. I'm going to tell you like it is. If you want to call it paper handing, that's fine. Call it paper handing. Call it what it is. But I talked to AB, a couple other people that I talked to when it comes to finances. The bigger picture for me, as my perspective has changed over this 2.5 years long period, is not only just about AMC, it's the broader scope of the whole market itself, the downside, the potential, the downside, and the amount of money to be made potentially on the downside when it comes to the market. I still believe there's massive downside of the market. I still believe that there's something coming that nobody, just because the markets are green, people think, hey, interest rates, bank runs, the housing market, commercial real estate, and you could go on and on, think that everything's fine. Everything is not fine. I think there's so much money to be made on the downside of the market because in 07, 08, I didn't know what I know now. and just seeing everything set up, and is AB and I, we talk about things from time to time when it comes to the downside of the market. I seen the setup. It started setting itself up for a play. It's setting itself up big time for, again, for the lack of a better term, life changing money. And for me, I felt that it was the best time for me to go ahead and just switch my position. Does not mean that I'm not going to go back into AMC or do anything else, but at this time and moment, it was the right decision for myself and my family to actually just move on. And if people don't understand that, that's totally fine. I still have all love for my retail family. I still love all everybody that that you're so hard and you're still doing what you're doing. I can't tell you what to do. Just like why I don't want you telling me what to do with my money. I don't tell you what to do. The only thing I can do is just give you the truth and the facts about just what is what. And for me, I felt this opportunity was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. And if I felt it right here that I need to pull the trigger, I did. I'm not gonna sit there and go back and forth. I make decisions. I'm a grown ass man. I'm an adult. I make decisions and I move on. And again, all-time highs next week. Oh, I'm happy for you. Trust me. I'll be so happy for you. I'll be rooting. I'll be like, yes. They'll be like, what about? I said, it doesn't matter. I'm happy for everybody. God bless you guys. Take it down. Get all your Hondas and Lambos. Yes.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hell
man.
yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, again, there's still things to go forward to. We know that they most likely will reappeal. We know that they might come back with another settlement. And there's more than one way to look at this, okay? For us now, what does this mean? Forget the court and what they're doing and what AMC is doing and all that. Now, what's the next step? First, Monday, come around, see what's happening. This has never been a 1 day or a 1 week kind of movement. Clearly, we all know about that.
Well, I thought it would be a 1 week movement. I thought it would be a couple of weeks. I thought I was like, oh, sure, a couple of weeks. So
exactly.
Top 6 weeks were good.
Right. So in order for us to see if this is it or if this is another nothing burger, we have to be able to see more volatility going in. Listen, I've been in January. I've been in this movement in January of 2021. I've been in this movement in June of 2021. You can tell when it's time. Right. You can tell from the movement of the stock. You can tell. Now, does that mean that it will perhaps when you wake up Monday morning or when the market opens, is it going to be already sitting at 1,000? Well, I sure do hope so, a share per share. But I haven't seen that back in June. I've seen it run from, for example, from that $10.99, $10 range over to 12. Lupe, what's up, my friend? And then when we've seen it go up to that 12, then suddenly it kind of consolidated. It kept running with high volume, and then it took off. The third day, the fourth day, it took off. It started running to 19 and 18. And when you see things like this, personally for me, I will be charting. I will be Dips Patel. It's been a long time. How are you, my friend?
Patel, what's up, bro?
So yeah, I'll be watching the charts. I'll be watching these things. Now, of course, you got to remember, indicators will be completely shocked if it's indeed a short squeeze or a MOAS, because everything will be running so high. The RSI is going to be in a reactionary mode, and the MACD, it's all going to be shocked out of the big time proportions. So the only thing that could at least help at that time will be price action movement and looking at those supply and demand zones. So first and foremost, if we are to be in that moment, you'll be able to see it. Hey, look at that. That's the Pabloco guy. Then you'll be able to notice it and you will see it. If it is indeed the case, then again, it's not too late for Mike. It's not too late for anybody. And in fact, any new money sees stuff like that. This is why I'm reiterating the fact of moving averages. Moving averages tell you a lot before the Big Bang theory happens. When we're talking about like a 50-day moving average crossing the 200-day moving average to the upside on a broader or on a longer time frame, not no daily chart, not no 1 minute or 2 minute or 5 minute. When you see that cross the 50-day crossing the 200-day to the upside, that's a goal in the charting world, in the analysis world. It's called the golden cross, and the golden cross is the best thing you can ever see, because all that tells you is that you are changing the trend of the current stock that it's in, the way that it's been. If it's been, and obviously if it's making a golden cross, that means it had went under a death cross, and a death cross that basically kept it in a seller's market, in a bear market. And we indeed have been in that since January 1st of 2022, officially. I know that we were robbed in June 2021, but the official crime was done at in January of 2022. And then, since initiating that death cross, we've been in a seller's market all the way since then. Now, a moving average crossing and making a golden cross at this point would indicate a change of trends. And look at that timing. If the court has rejected this case, the golden cross, all these things put together, it can only make me more excited. Now I'll look at the charts on Sunday, and then Monday we'll see exactly what's happening, and we will make our best educated guess with what we see. Again, we follow the money. We are the follow the money crew. We're not following, sorcerers and gobblers and stories and fiction and facts and all this stuff. We are going to go and follow the money trail. That's what matters the most, because it tells you the most, and the price action tells you the most, family. Indeed, another thing that I saw that was also kind of bullish is I saw COS ran up to about 17-18%. Yes, that's a very interesting.
I haven't heard that in a while, man.
Yeah, bro, it's an interesting sleeping giant that every time meme stocks run, COS is always like one of those plays that rips heads off as well along the way.
Right.
I'm surprised I didn't see SPCE do nothing. I didn't see some other ones do something. GME did move up 3%, which again is a bullish sign as well. We know they're all almost tied to the same algorithms. Another thing to look forward to is if you see meme stocks run with that exotic force. I've said this to some people in private circles and stuff like that, and I'll say it here in public to all of you guys. In order for these thieves that have been taking from retail trader left and right for the past 3 years, in order for them to be able to afford to perhaps pay us what are we due, or at least whoever is left of us on that boat to pay it off. I know you're laughing. I'm not referring to you, Mike. There was many people that got actually margin called out of their accounts last year. Right. I don't know if you remember that wave where people were getting margins because they were over leveraged.
Yes, I made a video about that. I was like, if you're trading the margin, you need to fix that ASAP. You need to get out of the margin.
Yes,
because a lot of people are getting trashed, and they're sending me DMs like why? I'm like, because you're in margin, right? And they're like, well, what's the difference? I'm like, you have no idea that there's people that I think wasn't at the time brokerages were actually giving you margin accounts just right out the gate, and people just had no idea. Oh, do they? Okay. And they had no idea. And I was like, no, you need a cash account. You need to have that funded cash account, no margin. Because I know Mumu, they give you a margin account right off the bat. I think it was. So I think it was something like that. But yeah, people were just tripping, man, and they were just getting margin called in, and they closed me out. Why? Well, dude, look at because you're trading on margin.
Yeah, they basically own you at that point.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So those people who couldn't make it. So by then, if this thing was to take place and to take off, you're going to see, if these people are going to be able to pay us, well, where are they going to get the money from? If the government is going to bail them out, that's one way. Taxpayers will pay for it. I hate that in that case scenario, but that might end up being the case regardless. At the end of the day, every downturn or every market crash, the taxpayer, the common citizen, is who ends up paying the price for that to happen. And the thieves who did the crime get away with it unscathed. That's what we know throughout history have always been the trend. 2008, 2001, 2010, the flash crash, in the 80s, in the 90s, all over. Every time there was a crime, it was always the common citizen that paid the price for something that they didn't even do. So that's one. That's one way. The second way is either that they completely prop up the market in a way that it has been propped up now. The data is telling us if I'm an alien right now and I'm outside of Earth and I'm looking down at numbers, if I'm looking at the S&P 500, it's telling me from up there, looking at this, it looks like this is the best time. It looks like that this market or the economy in this world, on this globe, planet Earth, is at its best it ever been. I mean, the SPY is damn near making all-time highs, right? So if as an alien, I'm like, okay, this must be the best time to come down here and invade these people. They're at all-time highs.
Yes, we're talking about aliens, ladies and gentlemen. Retail family, we're talking about aliens. We're talking about space and aliens right now.
And I'm not talking about the ET cute ones, So anyways, they from the outside looking in, it looks like we're putting on the facade that we have the best market of all time. We're economically in the
Crazy,
best
man.
shape we've ever been, which me and you and everybody in here, I'm pretty sure, knows that it's way further away from the truth. That's
Right.
not definitely the case. The markets are being propped. I seen that in this earnings season even better. Look at these banks' earnings. They were given special instructions to raise their expectations. The rating analysts were given special instructions to raise their expectations for over 38 and 40%. So basically, a terrible earnings can be viewed as that's great. It's terrible, but it's great. An absolutely horrendous earnings will be more like, well, that's not that bad. So you
Right.
couldn't come up with any bad case scenario here. It was always going to be good, no matter what. And you've seen that. Like every company lost. Carvana, it's another company. I want to say this specifically to all of the fundamentalists out there who compare AMC's and the balance sheets and all that. Carvana is operating at a loss every quarter. They're not even making strides to become better. We as AMC, at
Right.
least we're this quarter's earning that the second Q is coming up. We've been since 2020 making strides as becoming to in the right direction of becoming profitable. Where you got other companies like Carvana is squeezing out of the world 800% so far from the lows that was done to it earlier this year. 800% up is squeezing all on what? The fact that it put out news that it restructured its debt for longer, that the debitors that are collecting their debt from Carvana are gonna come, it's gonna be due further down the line. So instead of chapter 11 now, chapter 11 in a couple of years, that's it. Based on that news, the stock squeezes. Well, why is it so hypocritical? Why is it not AMC? Why is that
Right.
Charles Schwab or even Morgan Stanley or any of these other companies that are besides Tesla and Netflix here that reports losses are measured by a different length of a stick compared to AMC is measured by a completely length of a stick. So if it's a
Well, you already
12-inch
know.
stick,
You,
it's
you already know the answer to that. It's because their money's at risk. Their money's at risk.
exactly, it's the
They're short.
shorts.
Right.
And that's the point they hear that you know exactly that we're making. So we have a lot of bullish things to look forward to coming up. The
Want a
reporting
mint?
of the second Q. Can you smell it from all the way out there?
Did you eat fish today?
uh, so ultimately, is it's seeing this corruption and seeing how these people where they're going to get the money from, pumping up these markets to these unbelievable heights. Guess what? These people are making money on the way up on it. They're pumping it up. The plunge protection team propping it up.
Right.
Other thieves are propping the market up. And trust me, people, they will be the first to be dumping the market down. They will be loaded up on plays like the SQQQ. They will be shorting the shit out of the market. They will be Michael Berry on steroids 5.0, not 2.0. And with the latest iOS system as well, upgraded. And they will make hand over fist so much money. Again, who gets plastered? The people who are either retail traders in the market who are coming into this thing thinking that it's just bulls and bears. Yeah, guys, let's go bulls, let's go bears. And then they end up they think they're in the party, they're in the dance floor dancing. They don't know that the owners of the club are upstairs looking down on them from a private mirror where they can see you, you can't see them. And they're like, these idiots. They don't know that, we're about to end the party soon and we're going to kill everybody in here and all that stuff. So they end up dropping the markets. It's way overbought, completely overbought. I'm personally looking at it in the third quarter of this year to happen leading into the end of this year to see that cataclysmic effect. And then from that money, I wonder if we are going to be moving up as memes. Where's the money going to come from? Like, it's either going to be a bailout from the government or it's going to be something like this. And either way, they're making the money from the market or it's going to be from the taxpayer's pocket. Either way, ultimately, it all loops back to the taxpayer's pocket. We might be so fortunate to be on at least the receiving end of some profits.
Right.
But then the people who have nothing to do with the stock market, I feel really bad for those people.
Well, let me
All of you
elaborate on
guys
that.
here, yeah.
There
take a
is,
take a moment here, like on for these people that we know that are out there that are completely oblivious to what's going on. They just get up, go to work, come back. Oh my God, why is tomatoes more expensive? Why is rent more expensive? Why is they don't even know what's happening? And when this thing takes place, when it gets worse, we might at least be the ones that benefit, rightfully so, from our positions that we took for in these meme stock positions and all that from our investments. They don't even get nothing. They're just going to
or
get
even like
passed.
the VIX or like inverse ETFs, like playing the way down. And like I tell people, I don't know how to play calls. There's people say I don't even know how to play calls. I don't know how to play puts. Well, then you have inverse ETFs. You have the VIX. It's all call. You have options that you can actually play when it's downside of the market. But speaking about people that just go to work, I saw this video today, I'm gonna find a way to actually I'm gonna have to screen record it, but I'm gonna post it. It was pretty much as a union guy, and they just pretty much came up and told them that they no longer have a pension after working 30 years. Their pension's been gone, just wiped out, and he flipped shit. Right, he completely lost it, and he's telling his cohorts like, "Hey, like we don't have this no more. Like this is not okay." And of course, the manager is just sitting there like, "Oh well, usually what happens when a company gets money from another company and blah blah blah, like that big old bullshit, type of speech they give, knowing that management's
Get
probably
back to
okay."
work bullshit.
Right. And that dude is like literally, and honestly, being a union guy myself, like it angered me. Not only did it anger me, it actually really pissed me off because I can be that guy. I can be that guy that can, you know what, I can wake up tomorrow morning and then my pension is completely gone. It's completely wiped out, obliviated. All for something I didn't do because you got people on Wall Street that just keep fucking off with money and do things they're not supposed to do and get fined minimal amount of money, and that's it. And speaking of money, someone did ask me something about, again, if you don't already know, I exited my position on AMC and Nate. Somebody asked me, well, what about YouTube and your YouTube money? It's like, just to be clear, YouTube does not pay me very much money. And I think last month, I think I made like $100 last month. And I didn't make very many videos. And I think this month I'm like at $13. So YouTube is the last thing of type of money. Yeah, it's even on my list. It doesn't even pay for my lunch,
Let's
right?
go, Brandon.
Yeah. It's like I'm just like it just cracks me up, right? So I'm like, okay, like I'm not worried about YouTube money. YouTube, with it. Raider Bo, what is up, man? Raider Bo, I know Raider Bo used to give me a hard time, but Raider Bo, if you don't already know, I'm telling you right now, man. I actually sold my position on AMC and sold my position on APE. I'm completely out of AMC as of right now. I'm completely out. I cashed out in green at $2.43 per share, but I'm completely done with AMC for the short term, and who knows, I might get back in, but I do not know. But as of right now, I'm completely out. But
Mike, you need to go on Mount Sinai, you know, and scream it from the top. Do not believe in this golden cow, people.
no,
I've
man.
sold my positions.
I just want to, there's always gonna be someone out there, and you see this 2 hour live, or hour and a half live, like, oh, he never said nothing, motherfucker. I've been telling you this over and over again. Like, yes, I've been saying something, but one thing too is that when it comes to AMC, right? I know a lot of people they talk about cost of borrow, days to cover, short interest. They talk about all this stuff, and one thing is the fact that it's like all these numbers, and seeing this for 2.5 years, all these numbers again, self-reported. It's just bullshit. Like there's nothing, it's so disheartening because we don't get access to any information, the proper information, and the information that we get is just it's a facade. It's all bullshit. It's not real, and they just sort of just trickle down like throwing the scraps, like, here, just we'll give them this, we'll give them that, and people get so hyped when it comes to cost to borrow or whatever the case, and you get so hyped, but it's like, what are you hyped for? Like, it means absolutely nothing because they're just giving us what they want. They want us to get hyped. They control us through numbers, and and that's it's pretty hard to, and honestly, it's pretty hard to deal with on maybe a week to week basis because you see a lot of people that are not in the know. And AB, you and I, we have these conversations when it comes to the market of potential downside of the market or potential ways to set ourselves up to make money on downside or to even protect yourself, to hedge against certain positions that we have. And we talk about this, and I value you're a brother to me, right? So I value your information, but a lot of people don't have access to the truth. People don't have access to protecting themselves. They, like you said, they go to work and they pay for tortillas and wonder why their tortillas and eggs are getting more expensive, or the chiles. It's like they have no idea what's going on in the world, right? And one thing that people don't even understand, and this is still sort of hard to wrap my brain around, is the fact that AMC and GameStop, people never heard of them. There's still people that finding this out today for the first time. Stuff about AMC, stuff about GameStop. Like, oh, really? This has been going on? Yeah, for about 2.5 years, 3 years. Wow, I never knew. And that's crazy. So people talk about there's new money, new investors. There's always going to be new money, new investors. And and finding out for AMC and GameStop for the first time, it's like, there's always going to be the next person. There's always going to be somebody that doesn't know, that's just barely finding out. And so it might keep on rolling, but it's just I don't know, man. I just gotta say, it's just I feel bad for people, like that gentleman of that completely lost his pension. And like I said, the retail investor is always last to know, and that it sucks, man. It really sucks because a lot of people are going to get hurt. A lot of people are going to get absolutely destroyed and not have no idea what's coming. It's going to be like that bird that Randy Johnson hit with that fastball in that one game. You remember that? I don't know if you know that. You see that?
Hold on. Go ahead. What was it? The bird of who, with who? With who?
You ever see that video clip where Randy Johnson, the pitcher, he was playing for Arizona Diamondbacks at the time. He actually threw a fastball like 98, 99 miles an hour, and a pigeon flew by, and they actually hit it and just completely destroyed the pigeon.
No, I'm not much into the baseball world. I used to support the Dodgers, and unfortunately, they started doing some weird stuff as of late. I know you too. So now I'm back to my Cincinnati Reds. We got the home of Pete Rose and all that stuff, and of course, we all know what happened to him. But he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. Yes. Does anybody have any questions up here?
I do want to actually submit a couple of things right there. There was someone, and this is kind of off topic, but down we go, saying jail Trump. Okay, I'm not going to get all political on Mike's channel here and all that stuff.
Go ahead, say what you got to say, man.
No, it's interesting because I don't know if you've seen the Senate hearing yesterday for the whistleblowers, the IRS agents. If you haven't seen it, this weekend will be a great time to go watch it. Those two gentlemen that are whistleblowers are actually people that worked in the IRS division of actually investigating tax evasion on an international scale. So these people shared some crazy things in that hearing, and you'll see glimpses of it. And the fact that stuff is out, I personally still don't understand how we have a current sitting, acting.
Oh, you get hacked. You just got paused right now. You said a current, and you just paused.
Wow, they knew what was coming.
They knew.
They're shorting their stream.
Repeat it.
So, like, as they say that, as that comment says, jail Trump. Well, with what was happening right now with somebody's son, and how it was working, and how the evidence shows the influence that the son was using for his dad, I don't know how we still have a current and acting one right here. So if you're talking about jail Trump, I don't even want to sit here and tell you who to jail as well, and jail who as well, and in a way, I kind of miss the guy. I'm not the biggest supporter of any party because I think all parties are very corrupt in the same time. I do miss the charisma of the guy, and he is actually a much more stronger leader, in my opinion, and he's a lot more conservative. And I like that, especially in the times that we're in right now. We live in times, I feel like, where stuff are being pushed down our throat. Like, believe this, or if not, then you're part of the problem. We need to get rid of you, and all this stuff. Like, it's crazy. I saw the induction of Public Stock yesterday, which was a channel that is basically against the whole woke agenda. And Donald Trump's son was actually there. And Jim Cramer was making his talk, in the Wall Street. And I don't know if you've seen the video. He's trying to talk, and there's people in the background. Look it up on YouTube. It's hilarious. He's trying to talk. And, there's chants in the background that you could hear when they did the countdown to start the trading of the company going public. People are saying, like, chanting, USA, USA. And he's trying to talk, and he's like,
yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with this guy. Like, you could tell like he was getting mad that he couldn't even hear his own words when he's speaking because the people were so loud on that induction. But that was something I really, obviously, I don't know. I just needed to get that off my chest. I don't have any ill will against anybody. I just had to speak that. So it's not like it's just one guy. I need to defend one guy over the other if both guys are not here with us today. I want to act as the voice for the for the non-present.
A lot of people voted for well, I don't know if you call it vote. I don't know how that goes. I mean, you go about the whole system, right? But but a lot of people did not vote for Trump out of hate, out of hate for Trump. So they didn't vote for him. Had no idea, right? Again, I know there's people. I don't know anybody right now that actually comes out and says I voted for Biden. Like nobody says anything about that. His rallies, there's like 4 people there, and they all work for him. It's like the craziest thing. People don't like Trump because he's direct. He don't give a fuck what you say. Like he don't care what you say. He says what he wants to say, and your feelings get hurt. He's like, okay, next. But one thing I do miss about him is that his lack of tact. Okay, of just he's so direct and so just brushing off. Just as a matter of fact, okay, you're nothing. Next, that's what in this era, in this time, it's like trying to worry about everybody's feelings. It's just too much, right? And the whole wokeness and everything else, man, it's just too much, right? Again,
we
I don't want to get too
negotiate.
political.
Yeah, when we're negotiating with, and just to complete on your point, like on behalf, like when you're negotiating with other world leaders who really truly want harm done to us, or they want to see us below where we are, when when you're at the top, everybody's at the bottom is looking at you and saying,
KYP,
what,
yes.
they want the demise of the U.S. They want a lesser U.S. Now, again, I'm not saying we need to go out there and conquer the world so that we can impose our power and will, but I love my people. I can't help it. I would love for us to stay where we are. I want us to be where we are. Maybe if the government is doing bad stuff out there in the international waters and all that stuff, maybe I guess God will send His I guess the right wind will come down from His grace. However, for my people, for our lands here, of course, I want us to be where we are. I don't want downturns. I don't want us, and many of these leaders out there want to do us harm. If I want to send somebody to negotiate with them, I don't want somebody to go out there and look funny. I don't want somebody to go out there, like I'll point one incident, for example, and this is not getting political here, guys, by all means. Trump goes to Saudi, he comes back, billions of dollars, sold them faulty weapons we don't no longer need ourselves, and like old artillery and stuff like that. And he comes back with a firm handshake. Biden goes, he gets a fist bump and and no handshake. And the oil now, Saudi's talking about doing business with China. That's all I gotta say. And that's where I will leave it as far as from that political side. I do want somebody. Sometimes in this world, in that seat right there, you might need the guy that you don't necessarily like when you are hanging out as a human. Like maybe he's a bully, like Trump. Maybe he's a bully. He doesn't care about somebody's feelings. Maybe he'll say some things that hurts people's feelings. But on the broader scale, when you send someone to go speak with some other leader like Shinji from China or Putin, I trust sending Trump on our behalf than before I will send perhaps Biden or any of that. If he knows even the way to the room.
Like KYP right now, KYP saying that they're talking about Trump. Meanwhile Trump sleeps with a porn star. I'd rather him sleep with a porn star than go and man up against other national leaders in other countries. Like do what you got to do. Just he carries that type of swagger as Biden. Like he's not. He's like a show. He's like a puppet. It's like the weirdest thing, right? He's not even real. It's like there's like 4 different Bidens and shit. It's like the craziest thing, man. And so I think people don't like the fact that I know we're talking about politics here, but I know people don't like the fact that just what's that? Trump? He's just brash. He's just a brash dude. You see when he shakes Putin's hand, he grabs his hand, he pulls him forward. It's like you see if Biden do that, his arm will probably fall off. So it's like, and again, if this gets shut down or banned, I really don't care.
Where's Putin? Where's Putin?
Where's Putin? Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's just crazy, man. So, what else? There's something else I did want to ask you. I thought I wrote it down, but I actually didn't. But again, go see Sound of Freedom. If you have not gone to go see Sound of Freedom, go see Sound of Freedom. Sound of Freedom. Let's see. And and KYP, hang on, KYP. You're right. It is successful. They're all. There's not one better than the other. They're all garbage. They're all crooked, and they all do all the crimes. Right? It's sort of like the lesser two evils. Like, what poison do you want to take? You want to take the one that's going to kill you slower, or the one that kills you even slower than that one that kills you slower? It's just ridiculous, right? So You know, I rather have the guy that's just brash and sort of just, you know, just has swag as opposed to somebody that, you know, that takes pictures of photo ops giving ice cream to union workers. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. It's like, you don't give a shit about them. So
The sad part is that they think that we still are in the good old days in the 20s and the 30s and the 1900s, early 1900s and stuff, where all it takes is an appearance from the supreme leader or a big high positioned officer and shaking people's hands. And they're all going to be like, suddenly like, oh my God, they actually care about us. No, we do live. See, there's two definitions to, I think, in my humble opinion, to the word woke. Okay. So there's woke,
hot,
and
almost threw
there's
up. My bad.
there's yoke. No, I'm just kidding. No, there's woke, and then there's woke. And what do I mean by that? As in being really woke, like awakened. You wake up. That means you're waking up to all these schemes, all this BS, all these strangles, all these suppressions, all these manipulations throughout time. And who is it done by? From the up, done on down to the common citizen. Now, the term woke had gotten hijacked and it took on a whole new, complete different meaning, in my humble opinion, to now the new version of woke is this shove stuff down your throat. We're overly sensitive about whatever. And again, that's the new woke agenda. You can't talk about nothing. You must get down with every narrative that is put out there and make sure you don't stand in your own kids' way of us corrupting their minds and their lives and their brains. That's the new woke that basically took on place. So it's unfortunate, but again, hey, nothing can be pushed down. If you resist something, the only thing that will let it happen to you is if you ultimately cave into it. If you don't cave into it, you know, God is, in my humble opinion, I think God will give you the necessary strength to push through it and continue living the way that you are living, or basically under his commands or beyond his commands. It doesn't weigh how you see it. I don't want to push religion down on people. I am a person of faith. However, I refuse to see anybody making me live outside the confines of my own ways of living or the way I choose to live. Don't want to go ahead and go in this direction because you want me to. Don't want to move to the slaughterhouse because I want to live. And in the same time, if you want me to live, but only live on these little confined prints and all that stuff, I'm an anarchist. I will find my ways. I'll find a region wherever there is on this globe into where I can set myself up for the most potential of my freedom. That's my God-given right, ultimately. Mm-hmm. And every institution out there, every government's the most loving thing for them, their dream is to have the tighter the grip, the better control, the better they are happy. The more they are happy, the more they can steal, the more they can take, the more they can constrict you, the more they can tell you. I mean, like in some other regions, and I will not even say which regions, you can't even get access apps. You can't go on this. You can't go on Facebook. You can't go on this. You can't go on that. And it's all simple because if you were to say even something about the regime, you lose your head off as well. So we're like literally, so like we're in a good place.
Oh, you have puts? You're deaf.
You know, ultimately, I would love for us to corner right back before I leave to AMC and the talk of the stocks first, because, you know, I think the last question you asked me was about the banks. And I don't know if you remembered the other thing you wanted to ask me, but there's probably other things. Or if there's anything else, please go for it. Ask me, because I don't want us to stray away completely. I know people are so excited about the movement. Is this it? Is this not it? What other things? If people, you in the chat right here, if you have certain questions you want to ask,
put them up.
You know, please, yeah, put them up. Put them up. Mike can't know what's in your mind unless you tell us.
And if you're woke and you get your feelings hurt, too fucking bad. Simple as that. I'm definitely, you know, over here, they were actually, they in our district in Temecula Valley, they actually, they didn't, I'm going to butcher this, but my better half just pretty much told me that the fact that they tried to put that, you know, whole woke agenda into our school system, and the parents fought back and it passed. And now they're trying to find us. What's up, Marantz? Rand's dropping in. What's up, man? And the parents actually fought back and pretty much, you know, and just said, hey, you know, you can't do this. Now they're finding the school district. And actually, you know, I know we talk about, you know, the stocks and so forth, but I'm actually going to make a video regarding that because obviously I'm here in Temecula, you know, Marietta area. And there's tons of people from this area that watch my videos about anything. Have so many requests. People like, hey, come to the restaurant, make a food video. I'm like, nah, I will one of these days. But I think that's one of the things that I need to make a video about. Is pretty much our school system here. And now that Gavin Newsom, he's a piece of shit. He's actually sorry, nah, just kidding. He's trying to find the school system over here. And and it's like they're trying to find him like the $1 million or $1.5 million, which is absolutely ridiculous. He said about puts on Biden. That's pretty funny. And so I'm going to make a video about that, about the school system and how the parents are signing up. And I think more and more parents need to keep signing up and keep protecting the children. And speaking of protecting children, go see what movie. What movie we got to go see when it comes to protecting the children?
Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom. Go see that. Yes, absolutely, man. What else we got?
I was gonna play you and say Sound of AB.
Sound of AB.
But no, I think I've seen a couple of good questions right here. There was one for Raider Bo said, "How's AMC going to raise money now?" That's a very good question, and I would like to take a shot at it if you don't mind.
It's actually Adam Aaron's fans only, or only fans or whatever.
The Barbie. Barbie's here. Why worry? That's all we need. Barbie is here.
Barbie, the squeeze movie. It's the squeeze movie.
And Marantz Rants, by the way, I know you've seen my post, and I've liked one of the most recent videos where you talked about the reverse split on, I think it was on Mullen, or I don't know, I can't remember exactly the stock because there's a lot that has been happening. But I've congratulated you on there because it is a very prime. It's like a piece of diamond because you spoke truly without any biasness, and it is true. Exactly the fact that you mentioned as far as what happens to those stocks and what happens to the current investors, not the ones coming in, the new money coming in, and it plays out like everybody wants to, of course, every investor wants their investment to succeed. Now, it may come on the backs of somebody else's, and that's what you need to keep your eyes on. Like that's what we need to keep thinking of. The current investors, when they get a 60-1 or a 12-1 or a 10-1 or whatever the case may be, reverse splits, they're going to get plastered. New money comes in. They're like, okay, well, now that all the fight is done between this side and this side, I can come here and conquer or claim some of this land, come in at a much better entry point right there. And then basically everybody that fought the war, they're fallen forgotten heroes at that point. However, Raider Bo, how can they raise money? Well, one, they have Barbie now. But
Barbie squeeze movie.
No, that honestly, I've always said that, hey, guess what? If the system, if Adam Aaron and that board wants to be on this side, on our side, and honestly, this is where my GME position speaks. And I told you this many times in the past on phone calls, Mike, and you can fact check this. You don't have to, you always will speak the truth, even if it's an odd moment or whatnot. So I expect you to hold your values and stay true to that.
You put me on the spot. You put me on the spot now.
Yes, I'm putting you on the spot, and I want you to be the man that I know you are. Have I told you many times in the past that the corporation, like as far as the setup that GME has, is a dreamlike, kind of like when you see Ryan Cohen being in there, the board, the actions that they're doing as far as piling in on shares and not selling them. This is what you want out of, as an investor. This is what you want to see out of the company or the board that you're believing in. You want to see those kind of actions. So if you're buying and holding, are they doing the same thing or are they filling up their pockets? That's the most important thing to me right there. And I love the setup. So I've said to you, and I will put myself on the spot and also doing so, but I'll put you on there. I wish that AMC's board or even CEO, the newly minted CEO now for the time being for GameStop, was actually the GameStop board was actually where AMC is. If we could swap these people out and probably throw AMC's board altogether. I don't want to put them in GameStop. So no, my position in GameStop does not want to get liquefied or plastered as well. So I've told you this. Have I told you that or not?
Yes.
I would love, and so many times in the past, would love for the case to be for our board to be exactly the same way and handled the same way that the GameStop board is handling it. Now, here's another thing. How could we raise money? If the community, if that board is fully on our side, or the CEOs on the retail investor side, how many times that he said in the past, back in 2021, said that you retail traders came in, you saved AMC theaters. Without you, there will be no
All the
AMC
time.
today. All the
Always.
time he said that. Now, if you need liquidity and you need to sell shares and you need to do all that liquidity grab so you can do dilution and all that stuff, you've already made APE. You already made the preferred shares, and we were okay with it, even though we couldn't vote on it. Here's the thing. Why not? And this is a public, this is a maybe opinion, and I'll throw the carrot out there. And again, it depends on how people think or feel about that. Why not stay true to the people that saved your theaters, as you always say, strictly to Adam Aaron, or as some people refer to him as Adam Erno. So Adam Erno could have.
I like Adam Karen. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, Adam Karen. There you go. So Adam Karen could have stuck to his people and said, you know what? You took care of me. You kept the job for me. I've been taking raises and bonuses where rightfully I wouldn't have a movie chain right now. I wouldn't have a job right now. I wouldn't be a CEO. That board wouldn't have made money left and right on our behalf. You know how they were selling in 2021 on that rise of the price action on AMC? They all made money hand over fist. They all went Lambo. When we were saying win Lambo, they were saying it for us. They were actually doing it for us, while we are over here holding and doing what we rightfully, our right to do. And of course, we were robbed back then. Now, we didn't think that it will also be happening on the inside job for us, against us, from our own people. And whether they are eventually acquitted of doing something against us or not, that remains to be seen. But why not stick with those same people? Because institutes didn't come to save AMC. It was retail that came to save AMC. He said it himself. I'm not creating these words. I'm quoting the man himself. So since we did right by you, and you owe us all the gratitude for what we did, the least you can do is not let us get screwed over at the end. And what you can do is, you know what? Okay, stand with your retail investors. Make a sound statement to the rest of Wall Street that, you know what, you're shorts. And he could do it in so many different actions. He can say, you know what, okay, I don't need to necessarily do this. I don't need to move APE. I don't need to go ahead and dilute this right now. I don't need to do any of that. When he says these things and he gives his appreciation, once we get, technically, we can all be happy. We get our MOAS, we get our short squeeze, then guess what? He can freely go without any objections to turn whatever APE into whatever AMC. He can turn whatever AMC into whatever gorilla. He could do whatever he wants afterwards. And in fact, he will have all our blessings to do so. We all will be back. I know I'm one of them. I know that if I get what I came for, I did you a solid, you do me a solid. Guess what? This will be a memory that I will never forget. What will I do? I'll come back and put sentimental investment in here. I'll come back and buy a good size or sizable amount of shares in a company that, one, I do believe eventually now can continue to make it. He can sell as much and dilute as much as he wants of APE, or convert it into AMC and do whatever X amount of reverse splits. Institutions are not going nowhere. They're in this thing. But if they're waiting on us to be in the play and harm us in the pursuit of doing so, and at the end, after they do everything, they say, okay, well, now it's up to you. We took everything. We came to your kitchen, made a burger, made a sandwich, and then asked you, made a burrito with some chiles, and basically told you to wait outside while we finish doing what we're doing, And when you came, like, hey, please, can I at least have a bite? Like, get the F out. Just get the fuck out. Sorry for throwing the F bomb. Just get the F out. and when we're done, we'll come outside. We'll let you back in. It's your own goddamn house, people. It's
you're asking a lot from Adam Aaron. You're asking a lot from a guy who does not give a shit about retail. He's a dog and pony show. He does not care about him. He does not care about us. He does not care about, and I've seen this firsthand. I've seen it directly in his face. I've seen it in his eyes. I've seen everything about him. He does not give a rat's ass. He does not give a shit about retail. He does not care. He cares about his buddies, who he rubs elbows with, and he cares about his 1%ers. He does not give a shit about retail. He's a dog and pony show. He's a fucking fraud. He's a scam artist. That's what Adam Aaron is. I don't care. You know, you have your own opinion. If you like him, great. You think he's Superman, put a cape on him. It's all good. Adam Aaron is straight up. He's a fucking snake. I cannot stand that guy. And
Yeah,
I was a big Adam Aaron supporter from back in the day until, you know, obviously leading up to it and then meeting him and just being in his presence and asking him, just seemed he's very, very just another used car salesman and just saying what he needs to say to get retail to keep buying in so he keep taking our money.
Yeah,
That's what it comes down to.
I gave him so many props when he did some good decisions in the past, some. And then, of course, I was the biggest critic on him when he did bad ones. No one is, even like I said before, like even a broken watch is correct, or clock is correct twice a day, you know? So if he does 2 good things and then follows it up with 10 wrong things, what is he, a broken clock? Of course. In this case, definitely he is. But now again, Raider Bo, if that still didn't answer your question, that is what I'm doing here is I'm hinting at what the answer is of how AMC can raise liquidity. It doesn't need to necessarily raise liquidity with us on board. It doesn't need to raise it while we are on board, on our behalf, on our backs, on our shoulders. They can do all this afterwards, and we will all be more than happy. I know. Listen, let me ask you this, Mike, and I'm gonna ask everybody here in the chat. If AMC gets their much coveted for reverse split and conversion, and ultimately, let's say we go down the line and the end result was terrible and catastrophic to retail investors, okay? What do you think their investing strategy is going to be towards AMC? Do you think people will start going back to AMC and like you know, watch movies crazy and buy the popcorn they want and don't even need, buy extra 5 popcorns and like 3 Cokes and only drink 1? Do you think they'll be that ecstatic about going to AMC anymore if AMC, you know, ends up doing them wrong? Or let's say these paint this other picture. If they benefit and change their lives with life-changing wealth, by all means, in different measures, it doesn't matter how much it is, even if they just come out with a win on this. Everybody has different amounts of shares and positions. If they were to come out with a win on this, don't you think they will forever remember this? This was a journey. They've been in this, some like me, for example, I've been in this for 3 years in GME and in AMC. So this will forever be a part of my life.
Right.
However way it ends, I would love it to have a great ending. I don't want it to have a sad ending, because if it has a sad ending, guess what? Do I want to remember that every day of my life? Hell no. I will forever be like, you know what? F AMC. If we were to go down the aisle and it ends up badly for everybody and they get their conversion and the split and all that stuff, then guess what? I will be the #1 critic of AMC at that point. And I know that most likely here, everybody in the chat, I'm asking you, what do you think? First, including you, Mike, if AMC, and I know that you're out of the position right now, but
who said that? Who said that? Don't be spreading rumors, bro. You don't know me like that.
If you guys were all and you saw that the results of the fruits of today's labor, of what they kept leading you to as far as Adam Aaron and his board, and it ultimately led us to the desert, not to the land of milk and honey, how will you feel toward AMC afterwards? Are you still going to be the to the moon supporter that goes everything? I guarantee, I personally will probably start going to every other movie other than AMC on purpose, because again, it will remind me of the corruption that took place from within. We had these people.
Let me answer something for you. I'm going to say this, is that for me personally, in all honesty, I love AMC. I honestly do. It brings me back. I'm not getting choked up. It brings me back childhood memories. I used to live not too far from an AMC, and so I used to go there 3, 4, 5 times a week. I was always at AMC in Covina, just constantly, right? And so it just brings back a lot of memories, especially when they had downtown. I used to play poker and do a lot of things back in the day. You know, you do your dirt, right? And so my in-between time was just going to AMC and just hanging out and watching movies and taking my nephews growing up and just AMC all the time. And I would choose to go to AMC. And so it holds a special place in my heart. But that's what I truly can say. I believe in AMC. I just cannot stand Adam Aaron. And I know some people say, well, that's sort of contradicting. It doesn't make any sense. Well, you know, because it holds it close to myself. Personally, bringing back a lot of memories is how I grew up. I grew up with an AMC. I grew up with AMC as well, my nephews and my family. And Adam Aaron, he's just, he's just another dude to me. He's I don't hold any ties with him, and especially after meeting him, So, you're right. If AMC, is on the path of doing everybody dirty, it's just going to AMC and buying the extra popcorn and supporting, all that goes out the window. AMC's just gone, And again, this is the reason why I got out of AMC, because not because of AMC. I got out of AMC because of Adam Aaron. I do not trust him. I don't trust everybody in that whole area of his directors. I don't trust anybody over there. So therefore, and again, I'm lucky. I'm one of the lucky ones to get out with a profit at $2.43 a share. I'm lucky. A lot of people are stuck and don't have this opportunity. I may never have the opportunity. But then again, on Monday, there could be margin calls. You can push up. I have no idea. If you make tons of money, I'm happy for everybody, But yeah, everybody in the chat, what's your thoughts and ideas? What AB just asked.
And while people are putting those up, I'll throw them this next line of thing. Another thing I want people to pay attention to as well is that I am the #1 critic against short theses. And I understand a lot of people will go against me for this. What the short theses is that you need to have your great fundamentals and all that stuff and everything. Guess what? I am the #1 critic for the longest of periods. I've always been telling people that all that talk is for the people who are reading books, and you go by the book, you live by the book. And instead, when you go to the street, the rules are completely different. And like, what? It doesn't say that in the book. How's this happening? Well, you were book smart, not street smart. You don't know exactly how this market is being operated on. Tesla had unbelievably great earnings, and much better than even last quarter and year to date. The best ever, perhaps even. And on top of that, guess what? Look what happened to their price. Netflix did not necessarily have bad. They had a couple of bad articles, but that's, again, when I tell the people, the news is the reactionary explanation to the stock action, like to the stock movement. So you can't look at the news and say, guess what? This is why the stock is falling down, because the news is just trying to justify. These articles are placed in, like, psychologically, with precision, is placed there to make you behave that way. That's what they need you to believe. They want you to follow these trends so that you could go and jump in left and right at the wrong place, whether on the high end or on the short end of something, and you get, of course, screwed up. When it says like Tesla or Netflix, people are mad at their sharing plan. Now that if you need to share your password with somebody else, that you have to pay extra. Well, guess what? Financially, that's a good thing. Morally, I don't like it, but financially, for them, it's a good thing. So when they're doing when they're doing an earnings, and again, when it's all that in that room right now, there's no emotions, there's no morals. It's all about the money. And are you making money or not? If this plan is making you more money, then again, I'll give you a better example. When they lay off people, why they do it? It's morally messed up. But how do the world, or how do the Wall Street see or react to laying off people when companies lay off people? They react bullish as a good thing. Yeah. Like, okay, so you let people go, you fired people, you end some careers and lives. That's good. Now you're paying less, which means you can muster out more profits because you're not paying as much payroll anymore.
It was Pantheon. Pantheon mentioned that. I don't know if you watched it. He was on his live and he was talking about a couple of wrestlers with the WWE or WWF, which one, I don't know which one it was. They actually fired him. I let him go because of COVID, and they saved like $5 million. But then the very next day, they released the earnings, like record-breaking money revenue. Like they could have just kept them, and it would have been that big of a deal.
God bless his soul. That's one of my best friends and best people. Literally, this movement has to offer. The world in general will have to offer as a human. Now, here's the thing. Like they do this all the time in that sector. They look at these things. So it's not about the morals. Netflix gives out good earnings. Tesla gives out good earnings. Guess what? Stock gets hammered. In fact, the funny thing is I called it out 32 minutes before the closing of the stock market, before they reported their earnings. I said this will be a dump on the Netflix and also Tesla. Netflix exactly called it literally $1 2 minutes before it hit that all-time high, or the high, which was at 485, and then it started falling. And then in the after hours, they reported their earnings, and it's good earnings, but guess what? The price is not reflective on that. It fell over $60 in just the after hours alone. And that's the crazy thing about it. So I'm the number one critic of this whole short thesis notion. Doesn't mean if you have a lot of money. Tesla has unbelievable amount of cash sitting, unused, untapped cash. They got billions of dollars. Guess what? Their price still got shorted on their earnings report. Why? Because their price was moving heavily. Some whales were pumping the stock prior to that. All that price action was induced prior. So like when they reported 3 weeks ago, their car deliveries, which was up 80 something percent year to year on deliveries, that in those moments, when you started seeing Tesla rising and rising and rising from the 220s and 230s and 240s all the way to the 290 range, almost the 300, which I still think that it will rally up when the market continue to rally to break an all-time high. In my humble opinion, I do think that the market is heading toward an all-time high. I've been calling it for months. And I think Tesla is just rebounding, clearing off. Some big whales are collecting profits, and it's going to go right back up. And also probably like all the other stocks like Apple and all of them continue to make an all-time high. In fact, Tesla, out of all of them, deserves it the most because their sales and deliveries is actually reflective, should be reflecting. They are at the best point that they have been in their life since they've been induced as a company, as a business. And guess what? They're doing what they have to do. So I think that they will continue to go up. The short thesis saying that you have to pay off all your debt and all this stuff, while that's good, eventually, the one thing I want to keep people's minds on is that the stock market has a shape or a brain of its own. When somebody is over leveraged on something and they overshort something, they're shorting that company. They shorted AMC. They shorted GME. They shorted COS. They shorted SPCE. America, thank you.
His name is AB Investments.
Is it? I didn't even see it.
He says, I agree with this guy talking. That's AB Investments. That's I got to put you in the link, man. I got to get you a link there.
Thank you. Appreciate it, America. Thank you. And that's the thing. So like when you see why they shorted these companies, GameStop, AMC, COS, Sundial, Tilray, all these, it's because they are actual good targets. They are good shorting targets. They have weaker fundamentals. It's not that they're shorted because they're just because they want to short AMC or GameStop or whatever. They did, especially in the COVID season. There are businesses that relied heavily on retail walking in, and with all businesses closed and no retail selling and buying, they knew that these business models were very, very out leveraged. So they went ahead and seized the moment and overly shorted it. Now, what happened was unthinkable after that. We all came in and said, you know what? Okay, you want to tell me that if this float is consisted of 10 shares, okay? And I'm just making an example here so that people can see the smaller picture to apply it to the bigger picture. But we came in and we were a bunch of apes, degenerates, and we're scratching our heads and we're saying, look, there's 10 apes, there's 10 coconuts here, or 10 shares total for this whole float. If we buy all that up, there is 10 more apes there that would love to come and buy some more. Well, if they come and want to buy and we got all 10 of these, how do they get some? And they want some. So basically supply and demand, people, plays a bigger role than the short theses. If the floats are purchased, more demand is coming in. By the way, that's what dictates the price of the stock, is supply and demand.
But supply and demand does not take effect, but it does not hold effect true to AMC and GameStop.
Exactly. So that's where they knew in January of 2021, that's when the biggest money heist happened against us. The crime happened when they suspended us first and took the buy buttons away and only forced people for selling, and then said for about, like, they went away for about 4 business days to almost like over a weekend as well. And then came back, and it's like you could feel that something had happened. They opened up the markets. They lifted off the restrictions off these stocks like AMC, GameStop, and others. But something was weird. It's like the storm came and left, and now people are buying, but the price is stagnant. It's not moving. That's when I believe they came up with this, the evil plot of constantly selling people shares, but obviously not delivering them. As you can see right now, many market makers, many institutions that are selling are acting as selling brokerages or agents that can broker sales and all that. They're sitting, like Ken Griffin for himself, is sitting on over 65, 70 billion dollars worth of shares that are
Sold,
delivered and not purchased.
purchased.
So if they do that,
That's insane,
guess what?
man. That's
Yes.
insane.
So whether it's dark pools, or whether you're going through Webull or Robinhood, whether you're going through TD Ameritrade or not, you're going through these market makers to execute these orders. And even if you go straight to NYSE, I wouldn't be surprised. Look at what FINRA did to the MMTLP people. You see what I'm saying? And like the blue documents and all that stuff. So it's crazy how now whatever we buy is not affecting the price, which is the number one thing that affects all these shorts. If there is no price action moving to the upside, they don't have to worry about getting margin called. And if they get more and more people to come in and buy, of course, not all of them are going to be strong willingly or mentally or even financially. So they all might just jump in. And if we drag this on for so long, there's some that will stray away and say, you know what, I'm done with this. This is never going to happen. And it happened on some, some strains. It took some strains on some people. And then at the same time, they've been doing this thing to try to get people out of these plays. How? Bad negative media. Well, that didn't work. They brought the prices down to the bottom of the pits of hell. But guess what? That didn't get people to sell. That made people even buy more. Now, ultimately, this is where we start separating from GME and where AMC made this preferred equity. And I feel like that's the last plot in this game of the devils and the gobblers and all of them, is by creating something. The only way they can get people to get out of their AMC positions is perhaps by painting a picture of an invisible or an illusion or mirage of an AMC share, which is an ape just covered and wrapped in AMC wrapping. And basically, if you get here, and it's much cheaper, so they made it as a long hanging, like a very low hanging fruit, so that you'll be like, okay, well, they're doing the 10-to-1 reverse split. It's kind of like January 2021 all over again. They took the buy button away and they force you only in selling. The only difference here is they're not telling you to buy or sell or forcing you, but they're forcing you in one direction if you can see it. AMC is not going to be really good where you at because it's sitting at $4 or $5. Why don't you just go ahead and buy this at 68 cents? Why don't you buy this at $1? Especially that you know that there's a 10-to-1 reverse split looming over your head. You would be better off here. And
G Money said this: these extraordinary costs to borrow these hedge funds are paying our taxable losses. And I know people talk about cost to borrow, but who's really saying they're actually paying the money up front? How much money is actually been sort of just like let go? I mean, you had something like Robinhood. They were margin called. They actually had to come up with liquidity. It was billions of dollars. They didn't have it, and they were like, okay, let's take away the buy button and just let it go. You didn't have to come up with I think it was like the 5 billion or 6 billion, whatever that amount was. They didn't have to come up with it. So when it comes to the amount of money that they need to be paying, who's to say they're actually paying it? Again, they're all in cahoots with each other. One thing that I'm going to elaborate on something that you said when it comes to Ken Griffin, when he's talking about 65 billion shares or 60 billion shares sold, not yet purchased. When I asked Adam Aaron personally, face to face, the fact that, hey, do you believe in synthetic shares? His answer, obviously, you heard it many times. He says, no, I don't. There's no synthetic shares when it comes to AMC. They don't exist. It just doesn't. It's shocking to hear this dude, the CEO of AMC, supposedly saying this, right, face to face, saying that he does not believe in AMC synthetic shares. But when I told him this, I said, so you cannot tell me that with Ken Griffin or Citadel, which I know you can't elaborate on, which I told him, I know you can't talk on their behalf, but if they have $60-some billion shares sold, not yet purchased, you can't tell me that AMC is not part of that. Does that mean that if AMC is part of that, that they have all these shares sold, not yet purchased, those are not synthetics? And he pretty much just said nothing. It was just dead silent. So I actually asked it again, still absolutely nothing. And that's the thing. It's like right there, man. It's like, like this dude, this is a fucking scam artist, bro. Like it just, again, respectable. I was respectful, but I was pissed, man. And I'll say it here. And, I said, F that guy. When I walked out, when I was with Javi the Great, I pretty much walked out, and Hobby just he's like, "What'd you thoughts?" I'm like, "Fuck that dude." I was pissed. I was absolutely 100 just angry, man. I was pissed. Like this dude. This whole thing is just shady as hell, man. So I just want to elaborate on that because you're talking about Adam Aaron and the
Yeah,
whole thing with Ken Griffin and Citadel, 65
it, it
billion.
it makes so much sense. And see, I'm glad that like you took on this thing from a point blank, like in actual like real life, real time. You've seen the guy, you felt him out, and you're like you've dealt with him, you felt his energy, you've seen what he's about, and all that stuff. And like the fact that you compared it, which is very extremely hilarious to me, the car salesman energy, and you can see it. Look at it since 2021. It was always hyping apes. You did it, apes. You did this. Remember this, people, and history will speak. The con artists in this world's history, they were never people that were painted as bad people until history saw them as such. So they were always the people or the wolves hidden in sheep clothing. They were putting on a pedestal, similar to a story of like the Antichrist. He's going to come in, many people are going to follow. They're going to believe into what he thinks and what he says. And that's the thing, people. He came in and he was able to win all the people's hearts. Who's better equipped to lead people to the land of the desert rather than the land of milk and honey than this person called Adam Aaron? He's the person who won many people's hearts. A lot of people do whatever Adam Aaron says. Literally, there are people out there who would worship the man if he says, if they were all to be in the same car with this guy and he shitted himself, they'll all say, I don't smell nothing. I can't smell nothing. They're like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, what?
KYP, she pretty much said, KYP says that he didn't want to shake your hand. I remember the pictures that I posted on Twitter. It blew up. It had like 50,000 likes or views or something. People were tweeting it and all these comments about it, right? It's on his hand a dead fish and he's not even looking at you in the eye. People said he got all his sweaters from Bill Cosby. It's just like all this stuff's comical, man. But it's just, that picture was like worth 1,000 words. And that is something, and I'm glad, and I told you before, and the people that may not know this, that picture, it was taken by Highway the Great, but also I took a picture next to Adam Aaron. I'm standing next to him like most people do. But after, this whole thing, all those pictures that I took next to him, I didn't want to be seen standing next to him. And so I want to at least post that picture to show that I actually was in his presence asking these questions. And I'm not going to record him without, him knowing. I did, ask him. He says no, because if he's like, because we waited to the end. So he's like, I know you're going to ask me some questions that I cannot be on record, talking about with you recording, because I'd rather have you be off the record. I was like, okay, cool. So that's why I put my phone away. But I'm not gonna do that. But he knew, and with him knowing, like I said, he's a big boy, he can handle it, and I found that to be good. That's why we're there for probably like 20-25 minutes just asking questions, and it was tense, man. It was tense, but it helped me get to this point today. What's up, man? What you got?
KYP, if you see your comment, KYP, I'm not actually a Trump supporter or this supporter or that supporter. I've mentioned this many times in my lives. You probably, I don't know if you've heard it or not. I just said that when I compare this blue to this red, this blue is better than this red. That's basically what I'm getting to. I'm not a supporter of any, because I do always say that both parties, whether Republican or Democratic, are always in cahoots of day trading and obviously benefiting off of the market. You got the Pelosi's and you got the Republicans of the equivalence of Pelosi doing all that throughout time. So nobody is oblivious to it. Everybody, all of them are in the same, you mentioned it earlier, in the same dirty pool. Now, when I speak on this, as far as like on the general standpoint, if me and my family live in this beautiful nation of the United States of America, I want the leader of this country, since we are here, this is our backyard. I don't want to send somebody who might get us screwed over with the other ones out there, with these other supreme leaders out there. I want to send somebody who at least might keep this backyard here, where my immediate family are all going to be safe and sound. I don't want somebody who might put us in a World War III. And for example, next thing you know, I have to worry about if we were at point blank and we're in direct contact with some other people. Next thing you know, I got to worry about my family. Like, where are we going to hide? And all that stuff. So at the end of the day, It's I'm not a supporter of this. I'm not a supporter of that. I just want to make sure that we are always taken care of. And in this movement, you guys are like my family, similar to like in the political world, my family here, my actual family is the people that I'm also trying to protect. And in this movement here, you guys are my family that I'm trying to protect.
Yes.
Um,
And being the retail investor like myself is like the retail investor is always last to know. That's what I said. Above AMC, above GameStop, man, here for the retail investor. Because again, we're always last to know. But one thing right here is that Mentally Disturbed says, I think his tour of movie theaters is over. I would safely agree to that statement that Adam Aaron's touring of movie theaters is come to an end. I don't think that after all this and what's going on, he doesn't want to be facing any crowds anymore. He's just doing movie premieres. Again, I don't know for sure. Just what I'm just seeing, but there's no announcement. And again, can somebody go on Twitter and see if he's actually tweeted anything today? I'm pretty curious. I haven't looked yet, and I haven't logged on my computer over here. So, and plus, I'm on my phone to see if he's actually posted anything on Twitter. I'm pretty curious about that. So,
right. I see right here, KYP. Okay, let's pump the brakes a little bit. KYP. We're Hitler and Trump again. I see where you're drawing the similarities, but there's nowhere where I said I support or I'm aiding Hitler and all that stuff. That's way taking it overboard, KYP. Much love to you. I am talking about, if you understood my point, I am not a supporter of this and that. And again, as living in a democratic world, or in not a democratic world, but a free world, I'm okay with supporting whatever. Even if I was a Trump supporter, I should be able to come and say that, and should be completely welcomed by the whole world. I should have no ill will against anybody, and no one should have ill will against me because I don't necessarily support whatever their views are. I have a great heart. I want the best. If you hear me again, re-quoting myself over and over again, I want the best for my family. In this case, for our nation, for our people. I want the best for our nation, and that's all I want. I know all of them are corrupt. I'll reiterate again. But of course, I will not support something that you just mentioned over there, as far as like the Hitler guy. That's like whoa,
the
whoa.
Hitler
Like,
guy. Oh, that
where
dude.
did we go? Like, how did we go from Trump to that? Like,
But hey, remember, it's politics. Politics goes 0 to 100 real quick, So next thing you know, we're talking about. Then it's like this. There, like, what happened to Mike's channel? Like, I don't know how broke it was, man. And next you know, AB and microfighting is like, what? Like, no way. AB pulled his hair. It was like, oh no, man. But no, it's politics. You gotta remember, politics, money, and religion. Those things you talk about, people they get fired up fast, man. It goes quick.
again, I just again, much love to KYP. I know she's an amazing person. She's one of her biggest fans. She's one of my biggest fans as well. I just want to make sure that for anybody who's just walking into the stream, they're like, "What? They're talking of Hitler and what? What is this? What kind of stream is this?" It's definitely not that. I understand your point too, and I see their people and how they're talking and what they support and what they don't support. That's a different fight for a different time for a different thing. We're talking about obviously the stock.
I'm going to go off topic really quick because I saw a post. Now, it's too far to scroll up. It's probably like maybe 10, 15 minutes ago that I believe KYP and Carl, if I'm not mistaken, they were talking about pizza. And they said that New York has the best pizza. I just want to say from experience, Manhattan pizza is garbage. It's absolutely trash. Manhattan has the worst pizza. And I don't give a fuck if it's in New York or not. Manhattan has the worst pizza ever. Now, in the boroughs, I do not know. But Manhattan pizza is absolute trash. I just want to say that now.
It is true. I like the fact of how you were able to smoothen out the stream for sure. I love it. Kudos to you. 100 points to Mike. No, Brooklyn, if you were ever in New York, Brooklyn is the place that you would have. And I know many New Yorkers will fight me out on this, but Brooklyn is where you get your New York style pizza.
That's what I should have. I did not go to Brooklyn, man.
Manhattan is just overpriced for everything. Maybe you'll be the best you would have, or the best luck you'd have, is by going to Halal Guys in Manhattan and buying food from on one of those carts on the side of the street.
Actually, I got some breakfast burritos at this liquor store. They sold nothing but cigarettes and burritos, and it was by Madison Square Garden. And I'm telling you, man, I was like, that was pretty good. But the best place that I ate over there in Manhattan was actually at I think it's called Dutch Fred's. sort of like a little speakeasy. That is like that place was good. We had appetizers and stuff. Me and my boy, I mean, we're there for 8 days, and we just pretty much stood. We did everything in Manhattan. Went over down to Wall Street, all the way up. You know, just the whole thing. It was cool. I'm gonna tell you a story really quick because it's funny because we went to New York. So we're in the subways, right? And you know they have the cards for the subways, and so you know we bought our cards, and you know we didn't know how much we had to spend. Then there's one cat, you know, he's from the street. I think he was homeless. Comes up and he's like, "Hey man," he goes, "I have this card for sale." He's like, "There's $50 on it. I'll do $20 for you." I'm like, "Okay, there's a card reader over there. We'll go check it before I pay you." And he's like, "Where you from?" I'm like, "LA." He's like, "Okay, I got this other card right here." And dude, we were just like laughing the subway. And then and he's like, "I got this other card for you." So we scanned it, and you know, he gave me a good deal, hooked up, right? But the way he said, when I said I'm from LA, he's like, "Oh, I got in this other pocket. I got this other card right here." And we're just like laughing, man. He's like, "That's good." He goes, "How many people take that and just give them money and they're expired cards?" He's like, "I get dozens of people every single day." I'm like, "Wow, bro, like, this is crazy, man." I'm like, "You haven't got your ass whipped yet?" He's like, "Nah." It's pretty funny, man. That's pretty funny.
So you technically went to the bodega.
The bodega. Dude, I'm telling you, man, it was. I got a crazy New York story too. I'm not gonna get into it, but it's pretty funny, man. But it involved the drug deal that we're in the middle of, and it was crazy, man. But you know, my buddy didn't see; he's all oblivious to it. So yeah, it was pretty crazy, man. But
Wow,
and you know,
yeah, that's crazy. I mean, again, you do pass. If I look at you, Mike, again, I don't know you, and you walking around in the Bronx or something, I'd be
yeah,
like, oh, I can't mess with this Taino or this Latino guy. Like, he looks like he's part of one of these, you know, especially if you put that
Street Kings
Denzel Washington, the Denzel Washington walk from
from Training Day,
from
yeah.
Training Day, and like how, and you start putting that smile on, like ha 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 ha, you know, my man. There you go.
Right.
I can't pull it off. You can. But yeah, like it's crazy how like people also speak about the Chicago style pizza, and while that could be good if you are careful, Chicago was actually the worst pizza I've had. Here's why.
He went to the
Because it has,
bodega.
yeah. The bodega.
The bodega. That's pretty funny, man. That's pretty funny.
But Chicago have this weird thing where they overly stuff. They say the deep dish and they stuff it. So I went one time on a business trip to Chicago, and I was in downtown. I had this nice suite in the Marriott, and I was happy and all this stuff. And I was like, you know what? It's late. Let's order some pizza. I ordered it from this place. Let's get this Chicago style pizza. And every time I go to Chicago, I'm always using or having fun with the like, you know, going to the air. There's a huge Middle Eastern community there, so I eat all the good food there in the Chicago range. So I never go there and really honestly try street food or pizza or any of that stuff, because there's a lot of good restaurants there to go to. So I was tried this pizza place, and they had this deep dish, and it comes and it's heavy. And it's stuffed with eggplants. It's stuffed with some weird toppings I've never seen on a pizza. So here I go over here eating it. Hold on, Mike. I can't see it from these comments
Oh,
on the chat. Sorry,
it says Street Meat Mike KYP.
So like this pizza made me sick the next day for sure. Like, you know, having eggplants stuffed in a pizza, having weird toppings like squash put in a pizza. Who
Right.
thought that was good? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I might be able to do pineapples on a pizza. Might.
I was just saying
might.
Juan Ramirez, what's up, man? What's good, brother?
But eggplants and like this, like, might as well add rice at that point.
So what's on your pizza? It's a hot dog. Like what? I'm gonna wrap it up in about 3 minutes, man. So like, just keep it rolling.
That's
I'm gonna
good.
wrap
I
it
was
up.
supposed to leave like early.
I know, bro. It's like
I can't help it.
Dude, it's like 2 hours. Love. We're over 2 hours right now, man. It's like it goes by so fast, you know. But
dude, I love Mike. I love the family here, so I couldn't help it. Time goes by quick.
It said Carl J says pineapple is cool on pizza. What's one food that you don't like, that you totally dislike?
Me?
No, the dude behind you.
I thought you were saying it to Carl J. That's clear enough. No. But I don't like seafood that much, honestly.
Really?
And that's weird. Yes. So I have this. I don't know if it's some sort of. I don't know. When I was a kid, I think there was a bone when I ate this fish, and a bone, got stuck in my mouth. And ever since then, I was just like, I can't do it. I don't like it. And more importantly, I don't like the fishy smell on the fish. It just I can't do this. I can't eat it.
What are you eating?
Now,
Sardines or what do you got, man? Like,
anything, anything,
really? You don't like
anything.
shrimp?
Come on.
Like shrimp? Like salmon? Good
Maybe.
salmon?
It depends on how it's cooked, like coconut shrimp. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, okay, okay.
But the weird part is when I go eat fish in a place that is in an oceanic area, like let's say when I went to LA, or when I visited LA, or when I go down to Miami, or in San Diego, or whatever.
He said an
It's on
oceanic place. I thought you were gonna say like Jamaica or something. You're like
Oh
LA.
no. Yeah, not too bougie and none of that stuff. I'm very humble
Okay, I
here.
got you.
All within the states.
All right.
You know, again, you got to take it for face value. I'm a person who comes from the freaking Midwest. We got the Ohio River, and you know what kind of stuff fell in that river
Like
just a few months
diapers
ago.
and right. Okay,
And not just
yeah.
that, the toilet seats, and we just have those tankers, those trains. Remember those
Right.
tankers that fell in the water, and people were looking at the radiation in the water, and it was like all rainbowish and shit.
Right.
Like that's where I live. And can't you tell?
I thought those are AirPods. I thought those are extra things growing out your ears, man.
Yes, man. That's what happens when you live in the Midwest. But I saw that obviously, since we don't live next to an ocean, it's either going to be farmed fish or it's going to be something that was frozen and imported over from those regions. So therefore, I think that plays a big role in the smell and the taste. And ultimately, when I tried it anywhere when I was next to an oceanic area, I was actually able to eat fish.
So you just don't have access to it to make it like fresh. Because
yes,
it's like 7-Eleven sushi, right?
Exactly. But if I had a choice, it would be the last one on the menu. The steak would be the first thing. That's just my friend. I know red meat, unfortunately, but hey, I'm old school and old soul. I'm not. No one is saying that AB is sitting here. He's gonna talk about in his channel about healthy living. Don't eat. Be vegetarian. Be a vegan. Eat tofu. I can't stand this stuff. I'm all for eating vegetables and all, but my steak, no one can take that away from me. I love my steak. Then after that, I will choose chicken, and then if the only thing is left is fish, then I guess I might consider going vegetarian before I go fish.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty rough. Okay.
But I'll but I'll still eat it if I had to survive.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you?
I can't eat bananas. I'm allergic to bananas, and I'm allergic to red wine. I can't. I just get sick. Something that when I played sports, and they used to give us bananas for potassium, and I would always get like I started vomiting, and I used to eat more because I'm like I'm maybe dehydrated, and I would just pound them, and I was getting like nasty sick and stomach turning, and I had to go to the hospital, and they're like, "You're allergic to bananas," and they're like, "Oh, I thought the more sick I got, the more I had to eat." And it was bad, man. And then red wine, it really turns my stomach. It's really bad. So I can't have either of those.
It's kind of a good thing for you anyways for the wine part. Now the bananas part, that's like what part of the banana are you allergic to?
The fucking whole thing, bro. You eat the pill or what?
If that ingredient exists somewhere in some other fruit or something.
A fucking tree, bro. I don't know. The whole thing, man.
So if the stuff, just the tip.
Oh.
So
really professional.
I know, bro. I apologize, but again, if that ingredient, whatever it is that you're allergic to in the banana, it has a makeup of compounds. Maybe that exists in mangoes too. Have you tried that?
I can eat mangoes, man. It's like, this shit compound my throat. It's like, what the fuck? I don't know. I just choose not to like it. I can't eat bananas, man.
Oh my God. What a Friday night, huh?
Oh man, that's too funny. On that
Oh
note,
my God.
oh man. Any, any last nutritional words? Oh,
well. Now it's all left for the chat. What do you guys think? We need the
hey,
Dr. Oz's to report here.
it's an AA's latest tweet, joke on that.
You know, not to keep this as a funny moment or to end this stream on a funny moment. I don't want to scare people, but I'll say this. Imagine if Adam Aaron actually puts a new proposal for a new settlement by Monday morning before free market. People will be like, what? Come on, man. We didn't even get through the weekend. Let us get through the week before you do this. Carl J says we need Dr. Phil. Hell yeah. God bless his soul.
Something, man. Oh man, that was funny. You know, I'm gonna clip this part in and just pretty much post it. I'm not gonna put no title. Just post it, man. That's supposed to. Oh man.
What do you mean? The whole thing. Oh my God. Woo.
Man, wow. Hey, to everybody, thanks for joining in. Thanks for stopping by. And,
wait for it.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh man. I'm actually got the air conditioner on. I'm sweating bullets over here, man.
Please send my regards to the family and to the kids.
They're all over there. It's all good, man.
And God bless you, bro, and God bless this whole entire community and all the family. Thank you all for your support, and hopefully we have entertained you guys, and hopefully you walked away with some of these things. If you do have any questions, guys, please put it on the comment section once the video posts, and don't be shy. You know, Mike is the guy. You know. And at the end of the day, as for me, I canceled literally on some plans outside just so I could do this on a Friday night with you guys. That's how much I love you guys.
I love a retail family, man. God bless you. Retail investors always ask to know, man. Damn. I actually got to look at this part again. I'm when it uploads, I'm actually going to just...
So, look who just said hair injection.
Oh, man. There's like, why don't you like that banana? It has hair in it. It's like all right, man.
Go see Sound of Freedom, people. I know this is a terrible moment to say this, but
it's a bad segue.
Yeah, right. Go see Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom. God bless you.
Yeah, if you need a way to get it or any of that, I always speak based on my behalf. I will say, come to my channel, say that you need a ticket or way, and only me, or on Twitter, DM me or anything, and I'll be more than happy to actually support to get somebody to go watch it. There's also the Angels website, guys. Maybe, I don't know, like Mike, you know it exactly, the actual website, like how it goes. I know it's Angels something.
Yeah,
that
I'm incapable of thinking right now.
Okay.
But yes, it is Angel. There's like a QR code that you can actually go. You know, I was supposed to post it on Twitter. I didn't post it. Let me write that down so I can do it tonight.
Yeah.
QR code for it.
And on that post, on that website, you can either buy somebody or some people donate, like to buy tickets for somebody who can't afford it, or you can personally yourself go in there and get it from there if you can't afford it or anything. You can get a.
He says like Kenny G needs to feel some hairy.
You know what's funny? For about 3 years, literally, I've had this idea. I was like, when MOAS comes or happens, I will possibly send a huge container of bananas to Citadel's headquarters and like have a letter in there, like, thank you, it's been real, appreciate it. Choke on that.
Banana lubed in mayo with mayo. Oh man, this is
Ooh.
Dude. The next watch, there's gonna be a bunch of tweets of banana tweets, and people are like, "What the hell are they talking about?" It's like, Oh man,
Dude,
that
we
was,
have to.
so
I'm
funny.
telling you, we got to end the stream soon before it goes
Uh,
really X-rated. I can see it. I can
all
see it. Down here
right,
talking about bananas and mayos.
my retail fan, much love. God bless y'all. AB, much love, man. God bless you. Thanks for hanging out. Having a good night, man. Everybody is smiling down here. Just, I love you guys. God bless. And we'll be back probably tomorrow or on Sunday. Definitely on Sunday or something. We'll figure it out. So have a good night. Have a great weekend. God bless you. All right. That's it. We're out of here. Take it easy. All right. Peace.